Treasury is concerned. But we are, of course, coming at a time where the country is looking at key priorities around development, and where many are saying that we need a little bit more money to be put in the development budget. And of course, also some of the priority areas that the new administration of President Nandi Ndaitwah had spelled out, particularly around the development of oil and gas, renewable energy, and a number of other important industrialization policy targets. Now, just to break those things down for me, I'm here also joined at the set on location by Mr. Rodney Ngwai, who is an experienced economist and of course a policy commentator as well. Rodney, thank you so much for making time out to come and join us. I understand you are also taking care of the Namibia Trade Forum during this time.
Yes, Mr. Tsongozo, thank you for having me. It's a pleasant and rainy afternoon, or should I say midday in Windhoek, and thanks for having me. So I'm excited to see and unpack the budget.
There we go. If you look at the budget for last year, it came at quite an interesting time. We know the president just took over. Generally, when there's a transition, you wouldn't expect her to have so much input in it, because basically the development of the budget happens over a 3-year cycle with the midterm expenditure framework. We know that she was not going to have a lot of input during that one, but having been spent a whole year with a new administration, we should be expecting a little bit different from them this time around.
Yes, I think with focus, I would say it's a policy bridge. We're looking at new shaping of new policies and a new trajectory that is set in place for development and growth for the economy, but they have the momentous task of looking at it and to ensure that Namibia is on good ground so that we don't fall backwards on previous mandates, previous plans, and then the sake of continuity and stability as well. So I believe that with all the odds and expectations that the country is set and ready, and I believe that there was no monetary glitch or fiscal glitch in between. We have sometimes difficult geopolitical sentiments that are not challenging or unpleasant at the moment, yet Namibia finds itself to navigate around with focus on minerals, focus on energy transitions and all that.
Well, of course, it's one thing to have some key policy priorities areas set out, and it's another to make sure that that's actually implemented. We know that in terms of the execution rate has always been a biggest concern. This time around, what are your earlier reflections if we look at execution, particularly for the one of 2025-2026? It wasn't looking too good. And with these ambitious plans that are coming in from government as well, with the president talking about we need to deliver, work hard, what are your expectations in as far as execution of the last budget is concerned and potential outlook for the new one?
I would first say that there are the two elements that I can mention. One was the president making a bold statement that she started with the SWAPO Manifesto Implementation Plan, and with the 7 pillars that were set in as the main key pillars, which is education, which is sports, health, creative industries, and also public land access, and those were what she was planning to institutionalize and to make sure that she drills down the expectations or the mandates at institutional level, government level, and then secondly, she shaped her cabinet around those expectations, and she slimed it, making it more little linear, but at the same time she had to expand other committee support in terms of economy, in terms of health, and on whatever she wants to see as the main focus areas for targeted advice and strategic advice and input at high level. And with that being said, I believe that firstly, focus on the SWAPO Manifesto Implementation Plan. Obviously, she has adapted the NDP6 to be the first one to make sure that it's in full swing, and then also to ensure that the manifesto is implemented, because she will be looked at it as a blueprint of meeting her mandates and the promises that are attached to it. And thirdly, the people that she's surrounding and ensuring that they are the foot soldiers to implement her main policy objectives, and that we have seen a linear structure in terms of the establishments of positions such as deputy ministers, the mainline ministries being merged into one. We have seen the fiscal consolidation happening at that level, where after the ministries merge, mandates merge, but also the budgets merged. And I believe that also determines now the new budget. We will see definitely a more linear vote representation, but then the other topics that will come in place.
Well, we know, of course, even though with these ambitious plans, there are still certain thorns in the flesh when it comes to government expenditure, for example. Even though we know that with the new administration, the president tried to, make the ministries a little bit smaller, streamlined by combining some of the ministries as well. But the big elephants in the room still continue to be issues such as the government wage bill, for example, that despite the ministries being streamlined, we cannot just overnight cut out 10 or 20,000 employees from that as well. Talk to us a little bit around that balance, and we know that Minister Shafuda is not new to fiscal consolidation. She has been championing that for a while. But what can still be done? What opportunity is still potentially there to use a platform like this to steer the changing and cut down on some of those expenditure, particularly the large wage bill?
The 8th administration is the task of inheriting a very huge wage bill, surpassing 35 billion. They have more than 100,000 employees. We have very high unemployment levels. And with that being said, I believe also one of the unhinged approaches that she used was making sure or delinking some of the sectors which people believed in the broad socio-economic spectrum that these were causing a diversion away from bread and butter issues, which is, for example, green hydrogen. These aspects were parked, and through that, those departments were maybe whether it is integrated or whatever may have happened. But what that has brought about is to make a bold statement to say her focus is more on the carbon sector, carbon energy sector. There were also other fiscal movements that were made in terms of international debt, that she has ensured that the down payment of the Eurobond, which was already due in September of 2025. And then she has said that her approach or her expectation is not to go back to the global market to accumulate debt, but to look more inwardly and to use more domestic debt to clock out the difference in the fiscal deficit. And with that being said, that those are some of the highlights according to her approach and the expectations. And with that also, the focus now on the carbon sector, whether it's the upstream or the downstream, but especially the upstream, is that there are more robust discussions in terms of the bill. It's the latest topic that is hitting the scene, but it's also what sets the precedence into where her focus areas are and where she wants to set her priorities. So there was also the National Youth Fund, where she obviously wanted to make sure and ascertain that the 8th administration meets the promises made to the youth and to extend the lack for SMEs and businesses.
But some could still argue itself, because we know that the budget has always positioned itself as a social budget. Even with the former Minister Pumbushimi, there was always that front, the posturing as a social budget. But many say, even if you look at what has been made, the provisions last year for the Youth Development Fund as well, that it's a tiny drop in the ocean compared to, of course, the political rhetoric that we're getting. How difficult it is, and perhaps what kind of approaches can be taken, and what is it that we need to look out for, particularly for young people that are tuning in right now, where there could be smaller provisions being made to add value to that efforts that are being made around support for youth employment creation?
Yes. Most of the pillars within the SMEP was youth-oriented. We look at creative industry, we look at education, we look at sports, and all those are associated with youth development. Although we are certain this year possibly there will be a more robust approach to ensure that there's a sovereign wealth fund. Through this, then you can cement that there will be a fixed allocation or fixed approach towards ensuring that there's more development funds available. But the youth fund, whether it is temporary, we are not sure. Was that a temporary measure, or is it going to be a long-term solution? So I think we will establish only from today's budget whether there will be a second round on youth expenditure and how this will be institutionalized. But coming back to the point, yes, it is a social budget. We see that there is more liberal approach towards education and health, which are also key debates in today's discussions. They are very much financially, it's more, consume a lot of money and resources. So we are trying to see.
One of the things, of course, that we're also talking about in as far as that is concerned, as many have been saying, look, it's fine to provide funding through the Youth Development Fund and others. But it's also important to make sure that state administration is tightened, that we are competitive as a country from a business competitive perspective. And there had been concern, we're not sure right now, the likes of institutions like NIPDB that came through and was very robust in terms of that investment promotion. Some say, okay, we don't know, it's going to become part of the ministry, it's still going to be standalone. The functioning of BIPA, we know that the Namibia Revenue Agency is one of the best in the world as well. Talk to us a little bit around the importance of those institutions and how they can add value to the business competitiveness of the country, and then how that can be supported through budget allocation.
Thank you very much. That is a key debate, because there's always an overhang in some policies. There's an overhang in the expectation of businesses. There's an overhang in how the policies are executed, and there's fruitful results. But there was a cogent approach by Her Excellency and the 8th administration where they incorporated the facets of businesses, the commerce industry, the MSME, the informal sector. She was hosting the NAM-PPF, the Public-Private Forum, on the 18th of August last year. And I believe one of the main focus of this discussion was to ensure that private institutions were given a platform to raise their biggest concerns.
Well, Mr. Ngwa, thank you so much. When we start, we never end. Of course, there's quite lots to unpack, and we are going to be reflecting after the position of the tabling of the budget by the Minister. Thank you. There we go. So that's, of course, the interim CEO of the Namibia Trade Forum, Mr. Ngwa, also a very, very experienced economist and public policy commentator, just reflecting on some of his expectations from there. When we come back, we're going to be continuing and reflecting with him after the budget has been tabled to talk a little bit around some interventions for trade. But there is an important element when the Minister of Finance has to come to Parliament to come and present the budget. What she is doing basically is representing the executive and being so that she can be held accountable by the members of Parliament, who are, of course, the direct representatives of the people of the Republic of Namibia. And that's why she has to come and present to them. And here I'm joined by one of the members of Parliament and, of course, representatives from one of the opposition parties. A very good afternoon, Honorable, and thank you so much for making time out to join us.
Good afternoon, and good afternoon to the Namibian people.
Well, we know, of course, this is quite an important one of the big dates for Parliament, where you have to be sharp. It's, of course, a debate that will take a couple of weeks before you decide on it. But from your side, just talk to us about the importance of the event itself and the Minister coming to account to Parliament for how government wants to spend the taxpayers' money.
Yeah, thanks very much. And we are expecting this afternoon the Honorable Minister of Finance to come and table the budget, a budget that we are expecting to be very responsive, decisively, looking at the higher living standard of our people, the youth unemployment, and a budget that really speaks to improving sectors that will absorb the number of the young people that are in the streets, that we have produced, that we have qualified from our education sectors. So I think it's a budget that we really anticipating that will uplift the lives and the living of our people, particularly that we have spoken from the beginning, from last year, to say, look, we can't be appropriating a budget or approving a budget and then the budget is not implemented. We must make sure that the budget that is tabled, it's a budget that will be implemented without fear, without favor. And that's what we are really looking at.
So your main concern, you said, your primary concern is not the fact that we are making all these plans, we have to tighten up execution. What is it that government can do to improve on the execution of the budgets that get tabled?
So I think we need really to look at the issue of after approving this budget, there is a need to look at who are the implementers. Who are the implementers? Because that's where we lack. The implementer sometimes fails the process as we have approved from the National Assembly. So we must make sure that we follow up. Also as a nation, don't sit just there and say Parliament has approved the budget. We must be the eye, the openers, and people to question, to say, look, what we have approved from Parliament is really being executed, and it's really to the benefit and the masses of our people.
I know, Honorable, that the Chamber, of course, is waiting for you and that you have to get to that business as well. Just final parting words for your constituents and the Namibian people.
No, to the Namibian people, let's expect a budget that really speaks to all of you, all of us, to our needs, a budget that it's not going to leave anyone out, but a budget that will really speak to the need and to the living standard of our people. With this said, I'm really looking up to the minister, as we know her as a minister that is a very mother to everyone, and she feels pity when people goes hungry to bed.
There we go. Thank you very much for making that time to join us and be with us as well, Honorable. We release you to get back into the chamber. We know the Minister of Finance is already in the chamber as we speak, and within a few minutes from now, we will have that announcement, the tabling of the national budget. This is, of course, a constitutional prerequisite, a requirement by Constitution to ensure that the budget gets tabled in front of Parliament. It will be rigorously debated over the next couple of weeks. As we know, the planning for the budget itself takes place over close to 3 years, and in as far as what is called the midterm expenditure framework. So what will happen is, once the budget has been tabled, Parliament will have a chance to now debate the different votes that have been allocated according to the different ministries. You will know that, for example, with the Ministry of Justice and Labour, they would have two different votes, one focusing on labour and one focusing on justice, in as far as that debate is concerned. So that's what we're going to be doing, and that's what the next point of contact is going to be. We're going to go for a short visit to the marketplace. When we come back after this break, we'll continue with our coverage as we are coming to you live from the courtyard of the Parliament of the Republic of Namibia. Stay with us. Welcome back. We're still coming to you live all the way from the Parliament. We know in the next few minutes, the Minister of Finance, Honorable Ericah Shafuda, will be delivering the national budget statement that will be rigorously debated over the next couple of weeks here as well. And we're joined by another member of opposition party, the PDM. Of course, a former leader of opposition and a very, very experienced politician as well and member of Parliament, Honorable Fries, making time out to join us here. Honorable, thank you so much for making time out. Just reflect on us the importance of this engagement of the Minister of Finance coming to your legislative house and to come and account to the people's representatives.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ricardo, for the opportunity. I am Diederik Fries, Chief Whip of the Popular Democratic Movement in the National Assembly. The Minister of Finance is today here to table the budget, the national budget for the 2026-2027 financial year. And we are expecting more or less the same budget as has been tabled in the previous financial year. So our concern of the PDM is that we have a very big crisis of youth unemployment, and we want the minister to let the budget feature more on the youth unemployment to be resolved or to be reduced. For instance, to give money for the creative industries to create jobs. Also to give enough money for the agriculture sector to produce food and also to give us jobs, because agriculture is the second highest employer after the government of the Republic.
We've seen traditionally, of course, in terms of the allocations, we are being told it's a social budget in much respects. That has always been the approach by the administration. The priorities are still, the largest allocations have still been defense, education, and health as well. But how do we maintain that balance between making sure that the state administration still functions, those institutions like health are supported, while we create room for newer investments to create these jobs for young people?
Yeah, it is. That's why I was saying in the beginning, I don't expect the budget to deviate significantly from the previous one. So the social sector budgeting it encompasses many ministries together that are dealing with the social security of our nation. So we are expecting that the education will get the largest chunk again. Health will definitely also get, if not the second, also it will get a significant chunk also of the budget. But the President has made the pledge that she would increase the old age pension. So we hope that the President will also look at the pensioners to increase slightly on their social grants. We would also want to see that the learners, that students would be catered for significantly. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Fries, for making time out to come and talk to us. I know you have to get back to parliamentary business now.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Chief Whip of the Popular Democratic Movement, Honorable Fries, talking to us, and of course sharing with us some of their expectations as the Popular Democratic Movement is one of the biggest representative political parties here in the country. As we know, there's always been a key trend since independence in as far as allocations are concerned, with the Ministry of Defense largely taken up as expected and as international best practice, the largest chunk of the allocation from the national budget that is responsible for peace and security and protection of national sovereignty. And we've known after that education and health have historically been the third and the second and the third allocations, or the largest allocations in the budget, signifying once again our status and standing as a developing nation as well. We continue to engage members of Parliament on their different views as well. Honorable Thomas, thank you so much for making time out to join us this afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon.
Just a brief reflection, I think, on the importance of this engagement. This is one of the few times, one of the big three events for Parliament. The importance of the budget being tabled and the Minister of Finance coming to the parliamentarians to come and account to you.
Yes, thank you very much. Listeners, thank you very much, the MPC. Yes, we are aware of the budget. The Minister is to table the budget today. I think we have a little bit concerned there because this budget every time is just repeating itself. But there is no significant point we see that every budget which is passed is solving the public interest. This budget, we want to make a difference from the previous budget. According to the promises the head of state have made, we have got a so lot of unemployment in our country. We have got hospitals, lack medicines. We have got a road with a lot of potholes. We have got education.
Honorable, I think it seems like your proceedings are starting for your house. We can unfortunately interrupt to cross over there as well. It's time for us to cross over to the chambers and hand over to the head of the house within the chambers, Speaker of National Assembly, Honorable Sarah Madila, who's of course also the former Minister of Finance. That's very, very familiar with this process to take over.
Let us pray, Honorable Mashindange, and then you can bring the money later. Almighty God, we bow down before thee in humble obedience and dependence. We pray thee, grant us the grace to respect each other this day in all our consultations, that our deliberations today shall take place in the spirit of mutual trust, so that we as leaders shall lead our country on the path of peace and shall find solutions for issues and problems facing us. Grant us the mercy, O Lord, that we shall today also honor thy name in all we think, do, and say. Almighty God, we pray thee, bless our land and all its people. This all we pray in the name of Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen. Affirmation. I solemnly affirm that I will be faithful to the Republic of Namibia and its people, and I solemnly promise to uphold and defend the Constitution and laws of the Republic of Namibia to the best of my ability. Very good. Announcements. Honorable members, the tabling of the national budget. Honorable members, may I have your attention, please? The tabling of the national budget is a significant event on the parliamentary calendar, and its analysis is crucial for our oversight role. In this regard, honorable members, I invite you to a panel discussion analyzing the 2026-27 national budget organized by the Budget and Finance Committee of the National Assembly with the support of the Frederick Ebert Stiftung, Namibia. The event will be held on Tuesday, the 3rd of March, 2026, from 9 o'clock in the morning to 12 noon at the Hilton Hotel, Reverend Michael Scott Street. The discussion will focus on how the budget addresses social inequalities, social safety nets, and youth unemployment. We thank the Frederick Ebert Stiftung Namibia for their support in facilitating this important dialogue. Any messages from the head of state? Yeah, honorable members, I would have to seek your understanding that we proceed to the main issue of the day, which is the budget, and skip the usual routine of business. Can we do that? Agreed? Very good, no? Yes. Honorable members, thank you very much. Yes, please. Let's give the priority to the budget. Yeah. Yes. Then having said that, and thanking you for that, we now go to the first notice of the day, the first item of the day, which is a notice of a motion by the Honorable Minister of Finance. Does the Honorable Minister move that the bill be now introduced?
Honorable Speaker, I so move.
Who seconds the motion? Then it's agreed to. Will the Honorable Minister please table the bill? The Secretary will now read the bill a first time. The Secretary will now read on a lighter note.
I do not know why the minister is dressed in a PDM blue color.
Okay, the Secretary will now read the bill a first time. Appropriation Bill. Does the Honorable Minister of Finance move that the bill now be read a second time?
I so move, Honorable Speaker.
Any objections? Who seconds?
It's me.
Agreed to. The Honorable Minister has the floor.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members of Parliament, fellow Namibians. I rise today to present this budget at a time when Namibia faces constrained fiscal space, elevated debt levels, and a moderate but fragile economic recovery. This budget is not merely a record of Namibian dollars. It is an unbreakable contract between the state and its people. It reflects both our development ambitions and the discipline required to safeguard macroeconomic stability, ensuring that today's choices protect tomorrow's opportunities. The theme for this budget focuses on people, productivity, and prudence. This is a call to action to nurture human potential, boost growth drivers, and ensure fiscal sustainability. Government's policy direction remains firmly anchored in the 2025-2026 to 2029-2030 National Development Plan, NDP6, and operationalized through offices, ministries, agencies, strategic plans, which guide the prioritization of public resources within the medium-term expenditure framework. This year's budget introduces the 9th MTEF, following the introduction of the first MTEF in 2002-2003 financial year. The MTEF is firmly grounded in 3 essential principles that will significantly enhance fiscal sustainability and optimize public investment efficiency while prioritizing increased allocation to the social sector. First, the government will entrench fiscal prudence as a norm, anchoring the budget decisions on affordability, long-term sustainability, and macroeconomic stability. Second, the government is committed to making sure that every Namibian dollar will provide value and measurable results. Third, enhance the roles of state-owned enterprises and the private sector in supporting the development agenda, enabling the government to focus more effectively on the formulation of policies. I plan to elaborate on these 3 principles in detail during my speech. Honorable members, before I proceed with the budget, I would like to take a moment to highlight some notable progress and outcomes on the critical priority projects for the financial year 2025-2026 as at end of January 2026. Despite fiscal pressures, the government continues to deliver tangible outcomes. In housing and sanitation, the Mass Housing Development Program delivered 58 units in Windhoek, with a further 24 units nearing completion in Opuwo. Additionally, 1,059 housing units were built by the Sheikh Dwellers Federation of Namibia, and 112 housing units were built by the National Housing Enterprise and handed over to the homeowners. Through the basic sanitation program, over 2,100 latrines and communal facilities were constructed at the value of 37 million Namibian dollars. The mass formalization of the informal sector program invested 721 million Namibian dollars, resulting in the construction of more than 2,100 houses and the creation of 17,421 jobs. In addition, 9 land servicing capital projects were completed at a cost of nearly 160 million Namibian dollars. That is critical for the preparation of land for future urban development. In education, during the financial year in report or reporting period, government allocated 663 million Namibian dollars to cater for the registration fees and tuition fees for the first quarter of 2026, in line with the approved stance on subsidized tertiary education at both private and public institutions to ease the financial burden on households. The projected number of students expected to register for the 2026 academic year is approximately 134,079. Institutions are still enrolling students, and the final figures will only be available once that has closed. In addition, during the midterm budget review, that is October 2025, an amount of 151 million Namibian dollars was allocated to the Ministry of Education to recruit 665 teachers. To date, I wish to report to this August House that cumulatively 2,772 teachers have been recruited in the year 2025-2026. In agriculture, a total of 1,290 hectares were planted, primarily focusing on wheat, with additional crops like rice and horticulture. Wheat cultivation dominated at 617.2 hectares, projected to yield about 3,357.5 tons, mainly in Uvungu-Vungu, Dongalinena, Sadikongolo, and Sikondo green schemes, with contributions from small-scale farming at Musese green scheme. Additionally, 673.7 hectares were dedicated to rice and horticultural crops, expecting an output of 808 tons, including potatoes, watermelons, onions, cabbage, and tomatoes from Sikondo green scheme. In addition, the government continues to advance food security through productive use of land. The defense sector utilizes 31 hectares for the cultivation of maize, mahangu, and vegetables. The Namibian Correctional Service have 5,424 hectares under cultivation across Divundu, Everest Sikongo, and Hardap correctional facilities, producing maize, wheat, Hussein, vegetables, and orchard crops, supported by center pivot, drip, and sprinkler irrigation systems. Targeted agricultural programs, including small stock distribution and conservation agriculture, have supported over 2,000 farmers, directly contributing to food security and rural incomes. Under water management, major water infrastructure projects continue to advance. The Ogongo-Oshakati pipeline has reached 81% completion, while the bulk water project stands at 76% completion. On the favorite subject, that is the youth fund, for the 2025-2026 financial year, the government appropriated a total amount of 257 million Namibian dollars, reaffirming its commitment to youth empowerment, entrepreneurship, and job creation. Further, the government received financial backing of 28 million Namibian dollars from public enterprises, comprising 5 million Namibian dollar from Namibire, 5 million Namibian dollar from Namport, and 18 million dollars from the Development Bank of Namibia. I would like to take this opportunity to express my heartfelt gratitude to these institutions for their support towards youth empowerment. Of this amount, 50% has been allocated to direct project disbursement, 35% to the endowment fund, and 15% to coaching, mentoring, and related support services. For the first phase of the direct project disbursement, the following amounts are earmarked as follows. 64 million Namibian dollars for the Development Bank of Namibia to support industrialization, SMEs, value addition, and productive sectors. 44.9 million for the Agricultural Bank of Namibia for agricultural development and land-based production, and 19.2 million Namibian dollars for the Environmental Investment Fund to finance environmental sustainability and green economic initiatives. In terms of implementation, the Development Bank of Namibia approved 65 projects valued at 20.3 million, with 2 million disbursed and 161 jobs are expected. Agribank approved 53 projects with a value of 25.5 million Namibian dollars, with disbursement of 475,467 and an estimated 292 jobs are to be created. The Environmental Investment Fund approved 45 projects valued at 24.9 million Namibian dollars, with 11.3 million Namibian dollars disbursed, and approximately 270 jobs are anticipated. In conclusion, while project approvals demonstrate strong uptake, continued focus is required to accelerate disbursements so that allocated resources translate into tangible economic and employment outcomes for young Namibians. Let me take a moment to emphasize that there is no collateral necessary for these Youth Development Fund loans. However, recipients are expected to show both commitment and patience as they embark on their business journeys. In the energy sector, electrification efforts continue to reduce inequality in access to services. Rural electrification has already connected 62 schools across 8 regions. Peri-urban electrification projects are 80% complete, that is in Benduk, and 45% complete in NORAD serviced areas. Off-grid projects include the Pyrrhus project and electrification of public institutions are each approximately 8% complete, expanding access to energy in remote areas. These are just accounts of a few activities funded through budget allocations for the financial year 2025-2026, and a full report will be made available once the financial year has been completed. Honorable Speaker, honorable members of Parliament, allow me to brief this August House on some notable developments in the financial landscape aiming to transforming the Namibian economy. I wish to update this August House on the progress in implementing Namibia's first fast and instant payment solution to support government-to-person payments. The Ministry of Finance, the Bank of Namibia, and payment service providers are working together to improve financial inclusion through affordable digital payment services, focusing on rural communities and the informal sector. This initiative will facilitate quick, secure government payments, reducing travel distances with queues, especially for pensioners. The transition from cash disbursements with NAMPOST to digital channels will occur under the instant payment system that is set to be launched by the Bank of Namibia in the 3rd quarter of 2026. Thank you. Namibia is supposed to exit the FATF grey list. Namibia has remediated 13 strategic deficiencies that were identified ahead of the May 2026 deadline. And the country will now be subjected to an on-site assessment, which is the next step to ensure it exits the grey list. The Financial Intelligence Center will in due course update the nation. The Namibian Deposit Guarantee Authority also increased its deposits cover limit up to 50,000 Namibian dollars from 25,000 Namibian dollars during 2025-2026 financial year. At this cover limit, the Deposit Protection Scheme covers more than 90% of current depositors, ensuring that depositors have access to all or a portion of their funds within a specified time in the event of a bank failure. Gazetted the regulations relating to citizenship and place of residence of board of directors and the executive officers of banking institutions. And these were issued under the Banking Institutions Act of 2023. These regulations require that the key leadership positions and at least 70% of board and executive roles in banking institutions be held by Namibians. This ensures that critical decision-making roles remain aligned with national development objectives. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Honorable Speaker, let me now turn to the economic performance and outlook of the Namibian economy, starting with the global economy. The global economy remains uncertain. According to the IMF World Economic Outlook of January 2026, global growth is estimated at 3.3% in 2025, with growth expected to remain at 3.3% in 2026, before moderating slightly to 3.2% in 2027. Growth in advanced economies is projected to be around 1.8% in 2026 and 1.7% in 2027. In emerging markets and developing economies, growth is expected to continue hovering just above 4% in 2026 and 2027, while economic activities in sub-Saharan Africa are projected to grow by 4.4% in 2025, increasing to 4.6% in 2026 and 2027. This upward revision reflects macroeconomic stabilization and reform efforts in key regional economies. With regard to the domestic economy, GDP growth for 2025 has been revised downward to 2.9% from 3.3% estimated at the time of the mid-year budget review, and from 3.7% growth recorded in 2024. Growth in 2025 was driven mainly by uranium and gold mining, wholesale and retail trade, as well as transport and storage. Primary industries grew by 2.8% in 2025, rebounding from a 1.8% contraction in 2024, largely due to increased mining output. With regard to secondary industries, they slowed sharply to 0.8% growth, down from 3.0% in 2024, reflecting a 0.8% contraction in manufacturing. Finally, the tertiary industries grew by 3.3% compared to 4.9% in 2024, supported mainly by the wholesale trade. Going forward, economic growth is projected to recover to 3.1% in 2026, with medium-term growth expected to average approximately 3.3%. With regard to inflation, Namibia's annual inflation rate dropped to 2.9% in January 2026, down from 3.2% in January 2025, driven by easing food prices, but still pressured by rising housing and utility costs. The Bank of Namibia expects inflation to average around 3.5% in 2026, supported by lower global oil and food prices. The Bank of Namibia's international reserves, fell to 51.6 billion Namibian dollars at the end of December 2025, down from 63 billion Namibian dollars in December 2024. This decline was mainly due to foreign debt repayments by the government, including the Eurobond redemption, along with lower circle receipts and net ZAR outflows from banks, compounded by the strengthening of the Namibian dollar or South African rand against major currencies. In 2025, the Bank of Namibia lowered the repo rate by 50 basis points to 6.50% to support the economy and maintain the peg with the South African rand. In February 2026, the policy rate was kept unchanged. The central bank also maintained a 25 basis point reduction in commercial banks' lending rates by December 2025, narrowing the Namibian prime repo spread from 3.75% to 3.50%. This initiative offers major benefits, especially borrowers, with annual savings of at least 314 million Namibian dollars. Now, with regard to fiscal performance for the 2025-2026, we gave an account of the actual fiscal outcomes in respect of the previous fiscal year, 2024-2025, and we also presented the revised estimates for 2025-2026, that is when I presented the mid-year budget review. Due to intensifying fiscal pressures in 2025-2026 fiscal year, total revenue and grants reached 76.6 billion Namibian dollars by January 2026, making up a 6% of revised target from the mid-year budget policy statement. The aggregate revenue forecast has been lowered to 87.4 billion Namibian dollars, down from the previously projected 89.4 billion Namibian dollars, and below the actual 89.1 billion Namibian dollars that was collected in the year 2024-2025. Consequently, the revenue to GDP ratio is expected to decrease from 35.9% in 2024-2025 to 31.3% in 2025-2026 financial year, due to lower circle receipts, a persistent decline in diamond revenue, which is partly offset by stronger gold production. In terms of expenditure performance, as at the end of January 2026, the expenditure preliminary outturn stood at 63.9 billion Namibian dollars, representing 79% of the revised expenditure projections as outlined in the mid-year review. The operational expenditure execution rate was recorded at 87% during the period, while the implementation rate for the development budget, which includes expenditure commitments, stood at 71%. Total expenditure is expected to remain broadly stable at 105.9 billion Namibian dollars, which is equivalent to 39.9% of GDP by the end of March 2026, reflecting expenditure discipline despite revenue shortfalls. Overall, the budget deficit for 2025-2026 has been revised upward to 6.6% of GDP compared to 6.0% projected in the 2025-2026 mid-year budget review. With regard to financing requirements, the global financing requirements slightly increased from 14.4 billion Namibian dollars in the financial year 2024-2025 to 14.5 billion Namibian dollars in the year 2025-2026. As of January 2026, total government debt stood at 174.5 billion Namibian dollars, which is equivalent to 65.2% of GDP. The debt portfolio is now 88% domestic and 12% foreign, reflecting a strategic shift towards domestic financing. However, interest payments are projected to consume 16.4% of total revenue, amounting to 14.3 billion Namibian dollars, up from 14.7% in 2024-2025. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, in terms of Article 126(1) of the Namibian Constitution, it gives me pleasure to table for the favorable consideration and approval of the House the financial year 2026-2027 appropriation bill, the 2026-2027, 2028-2029 medium-term expenditure framework, the estimate of revenue, income, and expenditure for the same MTEF period, the development programs over the MTEF period, and the fiscal strategy for the same MTEF period. With regard to the 2026-2027 budget medium-term outlook and fiscal policy stance, Honorable Speaker, honorable members, I wish to inform this August House that the revenue for the financial year 2026-2027 is estimated to be at 89.8 billion Namibian dollars, an increase of 2.5% from the revised preliminary outturn of 87.4 billion Namibian dollars for the financial year 2025-2026. A positive boost to revenue stems from this increase in SACCO receipts, estimated at 24.3 billion Namibian dollars, up from the revised preliminary outturn of 21.8 billion Namibian dollars in 2025-2026. Fiscal pressure arises from the mining sector, where revenue from other mining is expected to decrease. This decline is primarily due to a temporary dip in coal output as operations shift to underground mining and to the processing of lower grade ore. Domestic tax categories are projected to increase slightly in line with economic projections. With regard to expenditure outlook, the operational budget is estimated at 81.3 billion Namibian dollars for the financial year 2026-2027, representing an increase of 746 million Namibian dollars from the revised preliminary outturn of 80.6 billion Namibian dollars for the financial year 2025-2026. This was accomplished through a focused effort to examine major cost drivers, aiming to eliminate waste and reduce inefficiency spending across all offices, ministries, and agencies. As a result, we achieved total savings amounting to 2.3 billion Namibian dollars. In addition, adjustments were made to one-time expenditures from previous years, repurposing them to support essential new priority projects. Despite the overarching objective of expenditure rationalization, the budget remains cognizant of essential social and developmental commitments. For the financial year 2026-2027, the key priorities underscoring the operating budget are estimated to be around 5.9 billion to cover the following activities. Additional funding to support the government's obligations to subsidize tertiary education in the tune of 2.8 billion. And Honorable Speaker, I have some representatives here. The students who have accompanied me, where are they? Because they are beneficiaries from this subsidized special education. We welcome them. We welcome them. The future leaders. The future leaders. Yes, yes, yes. The future is bright. A budget of 1.7 billion Namibian dollars has been designated for the fiscal year 2026-2027 to enhance the salary structure for civil servants, and with that, improvement in their performance. And this is implemented as follows. For the fiscal year 2026-2027, all staff members in grades 15 and 14 will receive a standardized monthly increase of 700 Namibian dollars. Furthermore, employees in grades 13 to 1 will have a 5% increase in their basic salaries, and all these are effective April 2026. Transitioning to the fiscal year 2027-2028, every staff member from grades 15 to 1 will receive a 5% boost in their basic salaries, while those in non-management positions will experience a 7% increase in their transport allowance starting April 2027. Acknowledging the roles that the judges and magistrates play, an allocation of 78 million is earmarked to address a shortfall in personnel for judges and magistrates. Recruitment of health professionals is budgeted. For the recruitment of health professionals, an amount of 259 million is budgeted. An amount of 108 million is budgeted for the recruitment of National Correctional Service cadets. Now, an amount of 58 million is earmarked for the improvements to the basic pay and benefits of the public office bearers. The development budget for the financial year 2026-2027 it is okay, it's okay. The development budget for financial year 2026-2027 is set at 6.5 billion Namibian dollars for the state-funded developmental projects, as guided by the execution capacity of ongoing projects during the financial year 2025-2026. It is worth noting that this budget is also expected to receive 4 billion Namibian dollars in grant and loan-funded projects to improve infrastructure across various ministries. For the following two financial years, that is 2027-2028 and 2028-2029, the ceiling are set at 7 billion Namibian dollars and 7.7 billion Namibian dollars respectively. Furthermore, to mitigate the significant reduction in the development budget, which may adversely affect the implementation of capital projects and government priority initiatives, several strategic projects are proposed to be funded by state-owned enterprises and other non-budgetary state revenue sources. These include housing, road, and water infrastructure projects. The overall budget deficit is expected to decrease to 5.5% of GDP in the year 2026-2027, gradually narrowing to 3. Yes, please. Thank you. Narrowing to 3.8%. Gradually narrowing to 3.3. Thank you. Gradually narrowing to 3.8% for financial year 2027-2028, and reaching 3.3% in the financial year 2028-2029. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, to this effect, the government's total financing requirements projected to peak at 19.2 billion Namibian dollars in 2026-2027, from 14.5 billion Namibian dollars estimated for 2025-2026, before moderating to 12.9 billion in 2027-2028 and 10.6 billion Namibian dollars in 2028-2029, respectively. I didn't hear the clap. Okay, thank you. Total interest payments are projected to rise from 14.3 billion 2025-2026 to 16.2 billion Namibian dollars in 2026-2027 and further 17.1 billion in 2027-2028 and 17.8 billion in 2028-2029 financial year. As a percentage of GDP, interest payments will average about 4.5%, while as a share of total revenue, they are expected to increase to 18.1%, stabilizing at around 17.8% in later MTF years. These figures highlight the need for effective debt management to reduce interest costs and support developmental priorities. The total government debt is projected to increase from 174.6 billion Namibian dollars in 2025-2026 to 217 billion by 2028-2029. Total debt as a percentage of GDP is projected to stabilize around 67.5% throughout the MTF period. Domestic debt constitutes the majority, bolstering financial stability, while foreign debt, though moderate, plays a crucial role in diversifying funding sources. Government guarantees, which support strategic investments and public entities, are projected to increase from 7.6 billion in 2025-2026 to 11.8 billion Namibian dollars in 2026-2027 financial year, before moderating to 10.6 billion Namibian dollars in 2027-2028 and rising again to 14.1 billion in 2028-29 financial year. And that will be equivalent to between 2.8 and 4.3% of GDP. The ministry has commenced the implementation of the Commonwealth Meridian Debt Management System to enhance efficiency and transparency in public debt management, analysis, and reporting. In addition, the government will embrace blended finance, public-private partnerships, and private sector participation to deliver resource-intensive but strategically important infrastructure projects. This approach enables the government to harness private sector efficiency and funding while protecting the fiscal space. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, prior to the finalization of the 2026-2027 budget, the Ministry of Finance and the National Planning Commission engaged in targeted consultations with various stakeholders, including individuals, economic societies, SMEs, youth groups, state-owned enterprises, and offices, ministries, and agencies, including National Council and the National Assembly, through the Budget and Finance Standing Committees. We also consulted the labor unions, business owners, civil society organizations, and we really received valuable feedback. I would like to express my sincere gratitude to all Namibians who participated in this process. Please be assured that your contributions are highly valued and have made a significant impact. In our consultations, a clear message emerged, and that is policy certainty is essential. Investors, entrepreneurs, and our development partners need clarity, predictability, and confidence in the rules that govern economic participation in Namibia. Allow me, therefore, to provide clear assurance on the three cornerstone policy instruments that are essential to Namibia's industrialization, investment, and enterprise development agenda. My colleagues in the executive will provide further insights during the commentary stage or committee stage regarding the status and the way forward on the three important policy instruments, namely the Namibia Investment Promotion and Facilitation Bill, the Namibia Equitable Economic Empowerment Framework, and the Special Economic Zones Regime. During the 2025-2026 fiscal year, the Ministry of International Relations and Trade concluded a national public consultation process on the Namibia Investment Promotion Bill, Investment Promotion and Facilitation Bill, and its regulations. Inputs were received from the private sector, public institutions, civil society, professional bodies, and individual stakeholders. These submissions are currently under detailed review to strengthen the investment promotion and facilitation framework with a focus on transparency, responsiveness, alignment with the national development objectives, and adherence to international best practices. Further updates will be communicated as the legislative refinement process progresses. The government reaffirms that special economic zones are a key long-term strategy for industrial growth, with value addition and export competitiveness. While the special economic zones incentives will be periodically reviewed for global alignment and fiscal sustainability, protections will be in place for existing investors to ensure a stable, rules-based regime. The focus is on fostering economic activity, skills transfer, and technology development, as well as contributing to national revenue. The Special Economic Zone Bill is currently under legal review and will be presented to the August House by the year end. With respect to the National Equitable Economic Empowerment Framework, the government remains steadfast in its objective of broadening meaningful participation in the economy while safeguarding economic competitiveness and investment growth. To this end, the Office of the Prime Minister is engaging the business community in a meeting scheduled for the 2nd March 2026 to solicit input and discuss viable options going forward. Alongside the policies just mentioned, I would also like to share some progress updates on the key public finance policies that we are in the process of reforming. Public Procurement Act in Namibia is a crucial law for national development, promoting transparency and responsible financial management. However, current challenges have delayed project execution. To address this, we established a special interministerial technical committee to review the Public Procurement Act and related regulations. After national consultations that took place last year, an amendment bill is undergoing legal drafting and will be introduced in this August House by mid-2026. Innovation remains at the heart of our reform agenda. In this regard, the Office of the Prime Minister and the Ministry of Finance have successfully developed and launched the electronic government procurement website and portal. That's just phase 1. In terms of Code of Good Practice on Preference, this code lays out the fundamental principles and regulations for preferential procurement in Namibia. The policy essentially allows for the application of national and exclusive preferences towards categories of Namibian manufacturers, as well as other categories such as youth, SMEs, women, previously disadvantaged Namibians, suppliers, promoting environmental protection, and suppliers also providing employment to Namibians. The government urges all public entities to implement the Code of Good Practice, to strengthen industrialization policies and ensure public spending benefits our people. In this MTF period, or in this MTF document, the government will ensure adherence to the Code of Good Practice to support Namibian manufacturers and to promote opportunities for youth-led enterprises. With regard to the Public Finance Management Bill, it is at an advanced stage, and it will also be presented to this August House in 2026. With regard to Income Tax Amendment Bill, as outlined in 2025-2026, we have mentioned various amendments that are going to take place. The government will then maintain its commitment to implementing those measures designated to stimulate economic growth. Again, the Income Tax Amendment Bill is currently under review, that's legal review, and will also be presented to this August House in Q2, 2026. Similarly, in line with the views expressed through the stakeholders consultation and is aligned with the objectives of NDP 6, the government is advocating for crucial fiscal policy reforms in this national budget. As Her Excellency, the President of the Republic of Namibia, has clearly emphasized, it cannot be business as usual. So, these reforms are therefore crucial for the transformation and reaching our fiscal path. The nation stands at an important fiscal crossroads. The choices we make today will determine whether we secure long-term stability or allowing rising obligations to constrain the aspirations of our people. It's for this reason that the government, under the leadership of Her Excellency Dr. Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah, resolved that government should restore a positive primary fiscal balance for the year 2026-2027 and the whole MTF period. That's a job, why are you not clapping your hand? That's good news. In doing so, we will stabilize public debt and place the debt to GDP ratio on a gradual downward 60% of GDP. At the same time, we are taking deliberate steps to reduce interest payments as a share of GDP, thereby creating much needed fiscal space for priority development and social spending. To further strengthen fiscal discipline and contain risks, we will ensure that contingent liabilities are used sparingly, particularly government guarantees to spur productive investments, and these guarantees should be maintained below 10% of GDP. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, let me circle back to share my insights on the three principles that I referred earlier when I started my statement. To operationalize fiscal prudence and strengthen expenditure discipline, the government, through the office of the Prime Minister, will undertake a comprehensive review of personnel establishment and workload analysis. Also to look at the skills mix and deployment of service delivery priorities and fiscal sustainability objectives. This will be supplemented by the public finance review. Some people call it public expenditure review, but when you include revenue in, it becomes public finance review, to be undertaken by the Ministry of Finance on key selected offices, ministries, and agencies with a focus on finding efficiency savings. Implementation of employment conditions across public service, including fully funded public entities, will be harmonized through coordinated reforms across relevant commissions to strengthen coherence in remuneration decisions and contain long-term fiscal pressures. Eliminating undefined expenditure classification, especially to disclose what is normally budgeted for under 027. This will improve transparency, and if need be, contingency measures should then be made under a specific vote. Information and communication technology systems development will be centrally coordinated by the Office of the Prime Minister to ensure system compatibility, reduce duplications, and prioritize the development of local technical capacity. Manage pricing for goods and services by leveraging market research and NSA data to ensure cost effectiveness in government procurement. That is to say, the holiday of overpricing of public goods, works, and services is now over. Thank you. Right. To strengthen public investment efficiency, the government is implementing targeted reforms to improve project preparation and execution. The National Planning Commission and the Ministry of Finance will introduce minimum project readiness requirements before any project enters the development budget. These will then include feasibility assessments, verified costing, procurement readiness, and clear implementation timelines. To address persistent capacity gaps, the government will reinforce a central technical support function within the Ministry of Works and Transport to assist line ministries with project preparation, feasibility studies, and credible costing methodologies. Honorable Speaker, strengthening fiscal discipline requires more than sound laws. It requires strong institutions and an agile workforce to implement those laws. In this regard, the government will reinforce the roles of accounting officers, the financial advisors, the internal auditors across the public service, because this is recognized as critical pillars in the State Finance Act in as far as public finance management is concerned. And they will implement reforms to strengthen accountability and oversight. In doing so, we are reinforcing the credibility of our budget, safeguarding value for money, and ensuring fiscal discipline, and ensuring that fiscal discipline is embedded not only in policy, but in daily financial management across government. I want now to turn to the role of state-owned enterprises in the country's development agenda. Enhancing the state-owned enterprises is crucial for advancing the country's development agenda. To this end, some key strategic projects will be assigned to SOEs with the necessary technical expertise and implementation capacity to improve execution, short delivery times, and enhance efficiency and value for money. The strategy directly fosters economic growth by easing infrastructure bottlenecks. These strategic plans of SOEs will also be aligned with NDP 6. We will commence with two state-owned enterprises, namely NHE and the RFA. To boost the provision of affordable housing, NHE has secured 1.5 billion Namibian dollars in loan financing guaranteed by the government over the MTF period. This funding will facilitate the expansion of housing development by delivering approximately 2,300 houses. The government will allocate fuel levy revenues to the Road Fund Administration to finance the construction and rehabilitation of priority road infrastructure, ensuring sustained investment in transport networks while preserving fiscal discipline. Finally, the government will enforce stronger development budget execution, and the National Planning Commission and Ministry of Finance were directed to prohibit variance from development to operational spending. This is to safeguard capital allocations and to ensure funds serve intended purposes. In order to strengthen fiscal discipline and improve effectiveness of public spending, the government will pilot in selected ministries the outcome-based budgeting. We shall continue to modernize our budget framework to ensure that every dollar delivers maximum impact. Outcome-based budgeting shifts the focus from what we spend to what we achieve. Under this reform, OMAS will define clear, measurable outcomes aligned to national development priorities. This reform will strengthen service delivery, improve value for money, and enhance transparency in government operations. It will help ensure that national resources directly support the development outcomes our citizens expect and deserve. With regard to tax policies and administration reforms, the budget proposes new tax proposals to cover the MTF, covering the period from 2026 to 2027 to 2028-2029, and these reforms are: review and update depreciation allowance, we call it capital allowance, rules to support business investment and economic growth. Accelerated capital depreciation allows businesses to deduct the cost of qualifying capital assets faster than under normal depreciation rules. To improve transparency and reduce tax avoidance, mandatory disclosure for aggressive tax planning should align with the OECD or G20 base erosion and profit shifting, which is Action 12. Adjust the income tax brackets to reduce fiscal drag and improve fairness. Update personal income tax rates and thresholds to ensure continued progressivity and adequacy of revenue over 2 financial years. Special economic zones, they review and update the introduction of tax incentives to ensure they deliver on intended investment and job creation. Incentive design is sensitive to international commitments and circumstances, and with an openness to mutual beneficial cooperation. We are going to amend the Petroleum Income Act to address new developments in the sector. We are going to amend the VAT registration in Namibia to bolster key proud sectors such as agricultural imports, and the creative industry. We are going to modernize the VAT Act and implement e-invoicing to improve legislative clarity, enhance compliance, and reduce fraud. Review the introduction of the corporate social responsibility contributing tax deductions incentive. Streamline taxation of revenue from international sporting events. Modernizing the VAT Act. Sorry for this one. Streamline taxation of revenue from international sport events. Then corporate restructuring property, further to clarify the treatment of properties within group structures, to allow for group relief that allow for neutral measures, acquisitions, and restructuring under certain conditions. Under tax administration, now we go to our SMEs that they have referred to themselves as Order with Me. Now, with regard to Order with Me initiative, the rapid growth of e-commerce poses challenges for small and medium enterprises in the Order with Me initiative, including high transaction costs and reliance on multiple intermediaries. In response, as a responsive government, the Namibia Revenue Agency, NAMRA, and the commissioner is somewhere up there, is establishing, okay. Thank you. The Namibia Revenue Agency is establishing a centralized e-commerce clearance center to streamline clearance processes, reduce costs, and minimize the risk of lost goods. This center is expected to be operational by April 30th, 2026. Thank you. Between March 2025 and January 2026, this now with regard to tax refunds, NAMRA processed tax refunds totaling 9.8 billion Namibian dollars, reaffirming the government's commitment to ensuring taxpayers receive refunds that are rightfully due. Recognizing that timeliness is essential to taxpayers' confidence, NAMRA is improving operational efficiency by reducing refund turnaround times from 90 days, gradually to 60 days, gradually to 30 days, and so on. Thank you. Now, with regard to tax amnesty program, Namibia launched a tax amnesty program in 2017, which was later extended at various stages, with a deadline of 31st October 2026. This program offers a unique chance for taxpayers with outstanding debts to settle their obligations. Now, taxpayers are encouraged to take action before the deadline to ensure that their tax matters are resolved, because there will be no extensions. Yes. Now, with regard to syntax, lastly, in conformity with Article 21 of the SACCO Agreement, the following excise duties on the consumption of alcohol and tobacco took effect on 25th February 2026. And they read as follows. Cigarettes will increase from 22 Namibian dollars 81 cents to 23 Namibian dollars 58 cents per pack of 20. Pipe tobacco will increase from 321 Namibian dollars 37 cents to 332 Namibian dollars 26 cents per kilo. Cigars will increase from 5,843 Namibian dollars 68 cents to 6,041 Namibian dollars 72 per kg. Alcohol beverages. Hey, sure. The proposed excise duties show for alcohol. Okay. It's not bad. Sparkling wine from $19.03 to $19.68 per liter. Spirits from $292.91 to to 302 Namibian dollars 84 cents per liter of absolute alcohol. Clear malt beer from 145 Namibian dollars 7 cents to 149 Namibian dollars 98 cents per liter of absolute alcohol. Now, ciders and alcohol-free beverages from 145 Namibian dollars 7 cents to 149 Namibian dollars 98 per liter of absolute alcohol. Now let me come back now to the last part of the appropriation bill, 2026-2027. Allocations to the social sector. The social sector encompassing education, health, social safety nets, and youth empowerment. They remain the largest area of government spending. For the year 2026-2027, this sector is allocated 54.3 billion Namibian dollars, accounting to 61.7% of the total budget when you exclude interest payments. The prioritization of education and health in this budget reflects the government's firm commitment to the objectives of NDP 6. These investments are strengthening human capital, improving productivity, and supporting inclusive growth. Education equips our youth with skills for a modern economy, while health spending safeguards workforce participation and reduce long-term fiscal costs. Even in a constrained fiscal environment, the government is protecting these two sectors because they are strategic investments in sustainable growth, physical resilience, and intergenerational equity. A total of 28 billion has been earmarked for the vote, education, innovation, arts and culture. Of this, like I have said already, 2.8 billion is designated for subsidized tertiary education. A total of 939 million has been earmarked for development projects, while the vote, sports, youth and national service gets 750 million in the fiscal year 2026-2027, while over the medium-term expenditure framework, a total of 3.6 billion has been allocated. The Ministry of Health and Social Services has been allocated a total of 13.1 billion Namibian dollars, which includes 259 million for the recruitment of health professionals. Over the MTEF period, the ministry will receive a total of 38.5 billion Namibian dollars to upgrade public hospitals and clinics to match the private sector standards. The Ministry of Veteran Affairs receives 1.5 billion in the year 2026-2027 and a total of 4.6 billion over the MTEF. With regard to economic and infrastructure sector, the sector are allocated 80% and 4% of the total budget, excluding interest payments. The commitment represents the contribution towards supporting productive sectors and infrastructure development to stimulate economic activity and growth. Overall, the commitment to infrastructure development increases when the initiative funded outside the budget are also considered. Now, the vote for transport will receive a total budget of 2.1 billion, which is geared towards road infrastructure funded from the State Revenue Fund. It is worth noting that the transportation sector is also funded through external loans and grants totaling 1.6 billion, as well as fuel levies dedicated to the Road Fund Authority for the construction of critical roads amounting to 2.4 billion. The vote for works will receive 593 million for the 2026-2027 financial year and a 2.1 billion over the MTEF billion. The Ministry of Information and Communication Technology has been allocated a total of 682 million for the financial year 2026-2027. The Ministry of Finance received a 12.9 billion allocation in 2026-2027, of which 447 million is to cater for 100 increase in pension for the elderly, effective from 1st April 2026. In the same vote, okay, under the same vote, while we are waiting for the other process to happen, a 58 million for the improvement of the remuneration structure of political office bearers is housed there, and 140 million for contingency provision. Over the MTEF, the vote will receive a total allocation of 39.2 billion Namibian dollars. The vote industries, mines and energy is allocated a total amount of 826.7 million Namibian dollars for the 2026-2027 financial year, of which the development budget for the vote is amounting to 320 million, availed to fast-track rural electrification and improve access to electricity countrywide. Vote environment, forestry and tourism is allocated a total amount of 736.8 million Namibian dollars for the 2026-2027 financial year. National Planning Commission will receive 283 million Namibian dollars for 2026-2027 and 852 million over the MTEF. The vote agriculture and land reform will receive 1.8 billion, which is made up of a development budget of 478 million Namibian dollars. Over MTEF, the vote will receive 5.5 billion Namibian dollars. Additionally, the vote has external funding of 218 million Namibian dollars for agricultural mechanization, seed improvement, and the development of land in communal areas. All this is for the year 2026-2027. With regard to water and marine resources, this vote will receive 1 billion Namibian dollars for 2026-2027, of which 579 million Namibian dollars is for the development budget. External funding, including a 257 million Namibian dollars for rural water supply coverage and 865 million Namibian dollars for the construction of water supply security infrastructure. Under the public safety sector, this sector receives the second largest allocation of 17 billion Namibian dollars, accounting for 19.5% of total expenditure, excluding interest payments. This reflects government's commitment to maintaining peace, security, and stability as cornerstones for economic growth and national development. In this regard, defense is allocated 7.5 billion Namibian dollars, of which 587 million Namibian dollars is for development budget. Justice will receive 460.8 million Namibian dollars for the financial year 2026-2027, and over the MTEF, they will reach 1.3 billion Namibian dollars. Judiciary will receive 512 million Namibian dollars for the year 2026-2027, and budgetary allocation to the tune of 78 million has been allocated for the judiciary vote on personnel expenditure for judges and magistrates. Over the MTEF period, the vote will receive 1.6 billion Namibian dollars. Anti-Corruption Commission will receive a total allocation of 109 million Namibian dollars for 2026-27 financial year, of which 10 million will fill critical positions, while a total of 310 million is earmarked for the whole MTF period. Attorney General will receive a total of 267 million Namibian dollars for 2026-2027 and 814 million Namibian dollars over the MTF. A total of 8.1 billion is allocated to the Ministry of Home Affairs, Immigration, Safety and Security, of which 108 million Namibian dollars has been earmarked for the recruitment in the Namibian Correctional Service and 158 million Namibian dollars for the translation of 2,033 NAMPOL cadets in training and the recruitment of 2,000 NAMPOL cadets. The ministry will receive a total of 25 billion over the MTF period. Coming to the administrative sector, this sector receives 7% of the total budget allocation in the amount of 6.1 billion for the financial year 2026-2027. The Ministry of Urban and Rural Development has been allocated a total of 1.9 billion for 2026-2027, of which 744 million is for development budget. Board President will receive 1.2 billion for the financial year 2026-2027 and 3.7 billion Namibian dollars over the MTF. Prime Minister's Office, as a vote, will receive 535 million Namibian dollars for the year 2026-2027 and 1.5 billion over the MTF. The National Assembly will receive 416 million Namibian dollars and 1.2 billion over the MTF. Auditor General will receive 133 million for 2026-2027 and 406 million over the MTF. International Relations and Trade, 1.4 billion for 2026-2027 and 4.3 billion Namibian dollars over the MTF. Of these, there is a 94 million Namibian dollars to cover operations of the Namibia Investment Promotion and Development Board. National Council will receive 134 million Namibian dollars for 2026-2027 financial year and 409 million Namibian dollars over the MTF. Both Labor and Industrial Relations will receive 231 million for the financial year 2026-2027 and 700 million over the MTF. Electoral Commission of Namibia will receive 181 million Namibian dollars for 2026-2027 financial year and 553 million Namibian dollars over the MTF. A detailed breakdown of the expenditure allocations for various votes is available in the appropriation bill that was distributed. In conclusion, Honorable Speaker, honorable members, the budget, this budget is about restoring balance between ambition and affordability, between growth and stability, and between today's needs and tomorrow's obligations. The choices before us are difficult, but they are necessary. Therefore, this budget prioritizes macroeconomic stability, debt sustainability, and value for money, while protecting critical social and economic investments. Through disciplined budgeting, improved project selection, and outcome-based spending, the government is laying a foundation for sustainable growth and job creation during this MTF period. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, I am grateful to Her Excellency the President, Dr. Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah, for her leadership and for the trust she placed in me to manage the public finances. I further want to thank Her Excellency the Vice President, the Right Honorable Prime Minister, and my colleagues in the executive for their support. Similarly, I wish to thank the Speaker, the National Assembly, National Council members, through the committees on budget and finance for the valuable inputs that you gave. You have reminded me. And the Secretary General of the SWAPO Party. Thank you. Thank you for reminding me. Yes. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, allow me to thank the Director General of the National Planning Commission, Dr. Karen Bwende. My sincere thanks goes to the Governor of the Bank of Namibia. He's there, and his team, the Commissioner of Namibia Revenue Agency and the team, the CEO of the Namibia Financial Institutions Supervisory Authority, that's NAMFISA, and his team. I also wish to thank sincerely the Ministry of Finance and National Planning Commission teams, the Super Eagles, under their capable leadership of the executive directors. A job well done, teams. Finally, I thank every Namibian taxpayer for their continued contributions to the fiscus, and to all stakeholders whom we met during the budget consultation meetings, and those ones on the social media. We appreciate you. Honorable Speaker, I now move that the Appropriation Bill 2026, Bill number 1 of 2026, be read a second time. I thank you. Very good. Thank you. Yes, thank you, Honorable Minister of Finance. And that rare non-partisan reaction to the budget is noted. Yeah. Now, are there any further discussions? Are there any further discussions on the budget? Honorable, are there any further discussions? Okay, you have the floor, Honorable Nashinje.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I must thank the Honorable Minister for the tabling of the appropriation bill, and also commend her honesty, and also the theme is really the right compass as far as Namibia is concerned, where we are finding ourselves: productivity, people, productivity, prudence. Perfect. But the challenge here is just the execution. However, would depend on whether prudence is sustained beyond whether the productivity will be achieved. One thing, Honorable Minister, let me also, if the numbers are correct, you touched on the over 2,700 teachers that were recruited. Brilliant job. Anything that is to create opportunities for our people, we will support it 24/7. But more need to be done. We are yet not out of the woods. I see the developmental budget is...
Yes, the point of order. Honorable member, there is a point of order.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I'm not trying to disturb the Honorable member. The Leader of Official Opposition is doing very well in reacting to the budget. But I would just like to advise the Honorable member that maybe he needs time to just absorb what the Minister has presented. There is no harm in postponing this very important debate to next week so that we, and I say this because it's practice. New members, listen. I say this in terms of practice, which is also contained in our standing rules. So I'd just like to advise the Honorable Member, Honorable Speaker, to absorb the budget of the Minister, and so that we can come and do general debate next week after we have read through the estimate book, we have read through the budget book, and the time is properly allocated, which the Leader of Official Opposition has unlimited time to contribute to this debate. And that is my sincere advice. Nothing untoward, nothing aggressive or so on. It's just my humble advice. I so submit, Honorable Speaker.
We understand the... Yes.
Is she done, Honorable Speaker?
Yes, she has taken her seat, Honorable Member.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, okay. No, I just wanted to say the following.
Unfortunately, I know what I'm doing. I'm just thanking the Honorable Minister.
Honorable Member, are you contributing? No, I want to find out.
Point of order.
Honorable Member.
Point of order.
Yeah, no, there is another person. I need to ask a question, Honorable Ampanda, before you come in. Okay. I need to get clarity from Honorable Nashinge as to whether, can you just take your seat for a moment? Is Honorable Nashinge contributing to the budget debate?
Come again?
Are you contributing to the budget debate? But you are talking to the budget.
Can I finish?
Yeah, okay, let me hear what Honorable Nashinge is saying. But Honorable Nashinge, I cannot just allow you to finish. I cannot just allow you to finish. You have to make it clear.
I'm not contributing.
So if you are not contributing, just a moment, Honorable Nashinge, if you are not contributing, what are you doing?
No, you can't. Speaker. Speaker.
Honorable Nashinge, just a moment, Honorable.
Just a second.
No, I have to be done with him. Yeah, I have
Before you are done with him,
I need to get clarity from Honorable Nashinge, what Honorable Nashinge is doing, because, Honorable members, can I please have your attention? Yeah, for Honorable Nashinge, you cannot make a part contribution and adjourn the debate. If you say anything that is talking to the budget, you will not be able to continue next time. So if you don't want to make your contribution today, then allow those who want to make a contribution. Can I have silence, please? Honorable, I will mention your names.
Yeah. Not Nigerian.
Yeah, Honorable Member, if you are not ready to contribute today, allow members who want to make a contribution, and then you can defer the debate on the budget. But if you make a contribution today, you will not be able to come back and make a contribution. I asked you a question.
No.
I asked you a question. Are you making a contribution to the budget?
I
You
am
said
not.
no.
I was concluding and then you interrupted.
No, you don't have to conclude anything. It's either you are contributing or you are deferring the debate. You can't say something and come back at the
Honorable
end of
Speaker,
that.
I was just thanking the Honorable Minister.
No, Honorable Member. Yeah.
I was thanking her for being honest so that I postponed
No,
the
you
subject
don't
next
have
week.
to talk about honesty. If you are proposing a postponement, propose it. Make a proposal for that postponement. Yeah. No, but he is not giving the floor. Then I can say to him, Honorable Member, you see, if I go to Honorable Ampanda, I am not coming back to Honorable Nashinge. That's why Honorable Nashinge has to say what he wants to say. If he's deferring a debate and Honorable Ampanda wants to speak, then I can say, I give Honorable Ampanda the floor and come back to him. But if you don't say anything now, and Comrade Honorable Ampanda proceeds, you are not coming back. Okay, so you are not coming back. Honorable Ampanda, you have the floor. No, Honorable Ampanda has the floor. No, he has the floor.
Okay, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I think...
yes, he has given I have given the floor to Honorable Ampanda.
I raised on the point of procedure, the Honorable Nashinge knows exactly what the rule says. He have read the rules, he understands the rules. I think we have been unfair, and he was obviously going to postpone the debate. Yes. So
now you are out of order.
Let's allow him. Let's allow him, because
Honorable Member may take his seat.
I'm almost done.
Honorable Member,
can you just go to a house and not greet the people in the house? He was just greeting.
take your seat, Honorable Member. Honorable Member, take the floor. Take your seat. No, what is the time? I'm asking you, Honorable Member, you are not helping me. Leader of official opposition. I have a list of people here, and you are now number 3. I want to be clear whether you want to take the floor and clarify what you are doing to the presiding officer, so that the honorable members, so that the presiding officer can take a decision. Otherwise, I will proceed with this list of the members. Yes, you have the floor to please just yes.
Thank you very much. Speaker, I don't know what the problem is.
No, please just go ahead, Honorable Member.
Yes. What is the rush? Relax. I'm saying...
I'm relaxed. You are out of order. You are out of order, Honorable Member. Just go ahead.
Listen, please.
Honorable Member, what I'm saying to you is Honorable Nashinge, you cannot make comments on the details of the budget and want to defer the discussion after that. You cannot. If you want to defer, you just defer, but you not comment on the budget.
Honorable Minister, thank you very much for the budget. I defer the debate to next week Tuesday.
Yeah, you propose that the budget...
But thank you very much. The theme is very progressive. That's what I was doing.
No. Honorable Member, just accept the ruling. You were out of order. Now there is a proposal. You were out. No, Honorable Member. Now, Honorable Members, there is a proposal. There is a proposal. No. Honorable Members, can I have your attention, please? I expect it especially from this side. Yeah. So there is a proposal from the leader of official opposition that the debate is adjourned until next week Tuesday. I see on the list there is still Honorable Hengari. Does Honorable Hengari want to take the floor on the budget? Okay, you have the floor.
Yes, thank you very much. Honorable Speaker, I don't think the honorable members and myself, including the party that I represent, got the opportunity to build some sort of consensus and agreement on when we can postpone the debate to. But I want to, if you may indulge me, Emma, please. If you may indulge me, Honorable Speaker, I want to postpone the 3rd, rather, instead of next week, Tuesday, to give all of us a fair chance to study this budget. I don't think...
The third is when?
That is Tuesday.
He postponed to Tuesday, isn't it?
The other week. Following week.
Yeah, no, okay, let me...
The other Tuesday.
Okay, let me...
Thank you. The 10th.
You see, honorable member, if a member...
The 10th.
Honorable members, can I have your attention, please? If a member adjourns, if a member proposes an adjournment of a debate on an item to a date that is earlier than a date that is preferred by another member, we cannot deny the member who wants the debate to resume earlier the opportunity to have the debate to resume earlier. So we were only going to accommodate if the honorable member's proposed date is further than what she is proposing. So in this case, it is the proposal of Honorable Nashinge to resume the debate next week, Tuesday. And then after that, we will have a table for debate, and the honorable member can defer the debate to another day if he proposes. Okay? So the budget debate is adjourned. And on what point, the honorable member? Yeah, honorable, just... Honorable member, on what point are you rising? I can't hear you.
What a privilege is that?
Yes.
Just a minute.
Yes, let me hear the gist.
Yes, Speaker.
Honorable members, can I have silence, please?
Chief Whip, your members.
Honorable members, can you just go ahead, please?
Speaker, can we get an indication from the Minister of Finance and her team when are we going to get the hard copies of the budget so that we are able to contribute properly? Can we get them like last time we got them the following day, Friday, tomorrow? All books were prepared. So I hope that we can also get them tomorrow so we can the weekend to prepare properly.
Okay, thank you. Honorable Minister, are you able to do that now or later? Later. So she'll do that later. That is noted. Honorable members, the House will now rise for 10 minutes. No, when we come back, honorable members.
If you might call it, as the Parliament of the Republic of Namibia. I'm sitting here in the courtyard. I'm Ricardo Klagos. I'm not alone for the post-budget analysis. As we know, of course, a big one presented by the Minister of Finance today. And I think from what we know so far, and it can be summed up in one sentence, it's really not an expansionary populist budget, but more still on the consolidation and safety side. And again, protection of the social welfare of Namibians still upping the priority, and seems like it's the one that's still got a little bit of increase, albeit moderately. I'm joined by the Vice President of the Economic Association of Namibia, just to unpack a little bit and get the earlier insights around this budget that was tabled. About 106 billion Namibian dollars is what we're talking about. Josiah, what are your immediate reactions to this budget?
Yes, Ricardo, I think the budget, as you say, is not very expansionary, but rather what they're trying to do is more to be more efficient with the use of funds. Obviously, that's on the background or backdrop of where we are as a nation economically, where we are seeing tax revenues, basically being stagnant. We're experiencing some economic headwinds when we look at the structure of our economy, where the tax revenue is coming from. Our gold mines are not doing very well, although the gold price internationally has been going up. Our diamond industry is also not doing very well. And obviously, as we know, the extractive industries are where the tax dollars come from. So really, that is the way we are sitting right now. Not much growth in the budget, but so we see lots of fiscal consolidation happening.
In terms of that, of course, we know that the social side of the budget still remains politically untouchable. Small adjustment that has been made, very moderate, but still a strong signal from the side of politics. Talk to us a little bit around the social ground and the continuous protection of social protection.
Yes, I mean, if you look at the budget, the majority of it, more than 60% of it has gone to the social sectors. We're talking about health, we're talking about education, still, receiving quite a big chunk of the budget, and I believe rightfully so. Also, when we look at the social grants, they've stayed consistent, a bit of an increase going to the old age pension, but nothing significant there. But, just shows intent of where the government is in terms of social protection mechanisms for Namibian citizens.
What we know, of course, the Ministry of Education and Ministry of Health are still very, very dominant. But looking at the policy direction and the signifier that we received from the Namibian Director's administration, we still see that operational expenditure is crowding out any sort of aggressive capital and development expenditure.
Yes, and to me that's a bit unfortunate, where government is spending a lot on that operational expenditure, and we are also going to be seeing a lot more recruitment happening this year, maybe rightfully so when we look at perhaps in the education sector, when we look into the health sector. But some of the sectors, I believe, perhaps, shouldn't see as many new jobs created. We're talking about, obviously, safety and security is important, as well as, both defense as well. But again, from a government perspective, that's an important area to spend funds on.
I think in terms of tax policy as well, that's very, very important for you as the Economic Association of Namibia, of course, looking after some of the interests of private business and economy over and above. No corporate tax increase, no VAT increase, no relief for tax income at an employment level there as well. Reflect a little bit, of course, a good signifier for investors, but talk to us overall around the position of tax.
Yes, so obviously, as I said, government is currently struggling with collecting of tax. So they probably have a stance to say, look, we cannot go ahead and reduce tax significantly. But what I've seen there's a few incentives that the government is looking into. That's around the special economic zones, which I hope this year finally get implemented, as well as I saw incentive in there around CSR. So basically, if a corporate gives, they are able to have a tax incentive. I think that's a positive. But overall, not really much has happened on the tax front.
Not much has happened on the tax front. Again, just to close off that, I think the biggest one for many is the signifier around the fact that there's no aggressive capital expenditure, looking at the kind of plans that we're having in terms of industrialization. There were some expectations, of course, will there be some deliberate efforts around oil and gas, perhaps green hydrogen and so on, but we still see much of the money will go around the administration and operation. In conclusion, from your side, what is the key takeaway for the private sector and for your constituents at the Economic Association?
I think, again, unfortunately, the government didn't have much physical space to spend a lot in that side. But then again, what I've seen, at least from the minister's speech, is to say that around capital expenditure, they're going to try to be more efficient. They're going to try to have to increase execution around capital projects. Also increase execution around procurement to make sure that various projects actually get done. I think they're setting up a public task force around this to make sure that going forward that we really still see true value that comes from the public purse when it comes to the execution of capital projects.
There we go. Josiah, I think the two of us can spend another day or two just unpacking on this, but thank you so much for making time out to join us. There we have it. That's the Vice President of the Economic Association of Namibia. They're responsible for looking out for and, of course, analyzing economic policy in the interest of both the public and private sector as well. Just reflecting on that for us as well. If you just joined us, a very good afternoon to you and welcome. We're coming to you live from the Tintin Palace. That's the courtyard of the Parliament of the Republic of Namibia. Honorable Minister Ericah Shafuda has just tabled a $106 billion budget here. Of course, not an expansionary one for that matter, but looking more at fiscal consolidation and continuing in that trajectory. Key concern so far raised is with a lot of these industrialization plans that we have, the fact that we're still spending so much on operation. What can that do for us going forward? And I'm joined here by veteran economist and policy commentator Klaus Schauder. Thank you so much, Klaus, for making time out to join us.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for inviting me.
Well, we're still seeing that the Minister of Finance, of course, we know that she is a veteran public service executive. She's been in the administration over the last 20 years at the highest level, but still keeping it quite safe, quite consolidated this time around. What is your immediate reaction? I think many of us were expecting a bit of an expansionary budget this time around.
There was certainly no fiscal space for an expansionary budget. I'm even not surprised that expenditure increased, although revenue are under pressure. And therefore, the budget deficit has increased, public debts are shooting up, and also interest payments are reaching now about 17% of GDP, which is far behind our own targets of 10%. So I think we face severe fiscal constraints. Nevertheless, there are some positive aspects. The increase in social pensions by 100 Namibia dollar per month.
Looks like the social spending is still going to be sort of the key political lever that's going to be pulled going forward.
Absolutely, and the additional employment of teachers, health professionals. But what is also of concern is definitely the very low allocations to the development budget. And that is what can stimulate our economy and support economic growth, GDP growth, and so. Otherwise, there is very little in the budget that stimulates economic growth, except for the additional employment that, of course, increases demand. But we need to invest in productive infrastructure. And
I mean, and if development budget remains really below the ideal 20% that we're looking at, only sitting at around 12 billion right now, it seems like, I mean, the key question is that enough really to drive the kind of aggressive capital expansion that many would expect during a time when we're saying, look, oil and gas is being introduced, renewable energies are coming up, and we are focused on natural resource beneficiation and industrialization. Is that below 20% really enough to achieve that?
Absolutely not. And I think foreign investors already raised the issue of insufficient infrastructure. What we have heard from the Honorable Minister is investment into road and road transport infrastructure. There was no word about rail, and rail is crucial for these new industries, but also to reduce maintenance costs of our new road infrastructure. If we cannot move goods from road to rail, maintenance costs will increase. There is a higher risk of road traffic accidents and so on and so forth. Unfortunately, there was nothing, at least in the budget statement, that signaled a shift towards rail infrastructure, expansion of rail projects and so on. Also, the allocations are not only not sufficient for new infrastructure projects, but also the maintenance of current infrastructure projects. We know about potholes and so on and so forth. So I think we need to find a way to shift more funds from operational budget to the development budget.
To the development budget. Of course, one of the key indicators, also an important one that comes up when the budget is being tabled is on the taxes. We haven't seen that there hasn't been much changes with regards to the tax. No corporate tax increase, no value addition tax increase. Basically nothing changing there as well. It can be taken as both as a negative and a positive. Of course, from the investor side, quite a positive from them that it signifies stability. Reflect a little bit on that for us.
Absolutely. I mean, taxes would have been one area the minister or the government could have used to reduce the cost of living. by increasing tax thresholds, adjusting them for inflation. So by that reducing income tax payments by low-income groups and the middle income groups. That hasn't been used, although it's a relatively easy way to increase the discretionary purchasing power.
I wanted us to, just before I let you go, touch a little bit on the policy environment as well. We know, of course, that there has been a push towards the energy sector's strategic positioning, both on oil and gas, green hydrogen and others, basically the chat around industrialization. But we still see that there hasn't really been any targeted. We know the government is not responsible for the factories, but for the policy framework. Do you think enough is being put aside? And I think in terms of the movement for that to ensure that policy framework is in place?
We are still discussing the policies that are on the table since almost more than 10 years. The Namibia Investment Promotion and Facilitation Bill, NIEF, and the Special Economic Zone Act. They are there since a very long time. And in order to attract investors, we need to have policy certainty. The current draft of the Investment Promotion and Facilitation Bill is certainly not the red carpet investors would like to be rolled out for them to invest in the country. So we need to seriously rethink how we create a conducive business environment to attract investment, not just in our natural resources, but in the value addition of resources in Namibia, so in the manufacturing sector in Namibia. And for that, we need to have a very conducive business environment.
There we go. Klaus, thank you so much for making time out to join us this afternoon.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for inviting me.
Klaus Schade, veteran economist, now just reflecting a little bit and talking to us about the budget that was tabled now by the Minister of Finance, Ericah Shafuda, of course, tabling a big one for this time around, 106 billion, up about 3 billion from the budget tabled last year, still keeping in touch with some of the projections over the midterm expenditure framework. A very, very safe one, chosen, of course, not to go expansionary this time around, even though there's not a much gap to do that, but again, continuously focusing on fiscal consolidation. We still continue with our engagements as well, as we talk to our members of parliament to just reflect a little bit on some of their initial highlights around this thing. Ms. Ambrosius, thank you so much for making time out to join us. What's your first and immediate, I think, take back from the statement that the minister has provided for us this afternoon?
No, actually, with me, the statement is fine because there is a token of progress, even though the budget is declining when you compare it to last year. But when you look to the developmental budget, that area is promising that we are doing effort to go ahead.
We're doing effort to go ahead. We see that social protection and social spending is still the big champion. Small increase for the old age grant, very modest but necessary, but again, still a strong signifier from a political perspective. Talk to us around that continuous support by the government and investment in the social sectors, particularly with social grants and social welfare.
Yeah, it is very important because the backbone of the people's economy is when you protect the social being of the people. That is very important. I want also to comment if the pension grant to the old age people can be increased because significantly their income does not talk to their needs. Even the orphans and vulnerable children, significantly the budget does not talk to their needs. If there can be a little of increase to these needs, it's very important.
But the key concern is really, is it sustainable? Are we moving towards a state that's creating a sustainable social protection ecosystem, or are we just managing the increments slowly but surely?
No, the initial idea is to go about sustainable social protection move. Yeah. Not only that we just increase, but we must go and also initiate certain programs that can sustain this social protection move of the country.
Going forward, in conclusion, before I let you go, Honorable, which votes are you looking at with a keen and a close eye over the next coming weeks when there's going to be debated in Parliament?
I've already made my stand on the education sector.
Okay.
That is number one. Then the social health and social services. That is number two. And also urban and rural development. Because when you look to these three aspects of life, education, since independence, we did not realize the staffing norms, which have overcrowded classes. And when we increase classes, because the population have increased from 1 million to up to 2 million now. So when the population increase, we must also increase the infrastructure in education, and also the workforce will increase.
100%.
The same with health and social services, and also with the urban and rural development.
Thank you very much, Honorable,
pleasure,
for making time to join us. So there we have it as we continue with the conversation for today. Thank you so much, Honorable Ambrosius.
Pleasure.
We are reflecting and getting reactions from members of Parliament on the budget that was tabled by the Honorable Minister of Finance, $106.3 billion budget tabled this afternoon. That is, of course, the first full term of the new administration was having a bit of a room in as far as decision making is concerned. Total budget is 106.3 billion. Operational expenditure standing at about 93 billion, and a development budget sitting at about 12.8 billion, much lower than the ideal position of about 20 billion that you're looking at, or the 20% of total budget that you would want ideally for a development state such as ours. We continue to get reactions from our different members of Parliament. Honorable Lukatu now joining me here on the platform. Honorable, thank you so much for making time out to be with us.
Thank you very much for the platform.
Well, the Minister of Finance presenting the 2026-27 budget. What is your immediate reaction to this budget?
Thank you very much. Let me thank the Minister for tabling the important budget for the country, because the budget is a resources of Namibian people. As Namibian people, they own the country. At the same time, they own the resources. So out of the resources, where there is a budget, national budget. Regarding the budget, as far as I'm concerned, there are important fields where I'm not happy about it. This including the elder, the pensioners, which were supposed to get 3,000 as promised by the sitting president. And also that 3,000, it comes from also the former, the late President Hage Geingob. May his soul rest continue to rest in eternal peace. And also that since myself I'm advocating for the pensioner to be paid 5,000. So that was a very disappointment to me. And also when I see the allocation of the budget to the National Assembly is so little that the function duties of the National Assembly, they cannot perform or do their work in accordance to their operations. So that is a little budget. And I also look to the various ministries which affected because as far as I'm concerned, it's not a good allocations as far as I'm concerned. Yes.
So there should be still some improvements made. But the concern has generally also been around execution of the budget. Of course, we're seeing a lot of ministries and at both local as well as at central government are sending back funds that have not been spent, and that reflects very badly on the execution rate. What can be done to improve on the execution of this budget?
Yeah, it needs accountability, it needs responsibility, and it needs action to implement the projects in place.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Honorable Lukatu, for making time to be with us.
Thank you very much, Namibian people. Let me say, may God bless the Parliament of Namibia, Namibian as a country as a whole, the Africa continent, and the world at large.
Thank you very much.
Amen.
There we go.
Okay,
Thank you, Honorable Lukatu.
Okay.
Honorable Lukatu from the NDP, of course, being with us, just giving us some brief reflections there as the national budget for 2026 has been tabled by the Minister of Finance a few minutes ago. We're going to continue with that analysis and get more reactions from there as well. Honorable Ims Nashinge, who is the leader of the official opposition in Parliament, is now joining us just to reflect on the statement. Honorable Nashinge, thank you so much for the time. What is your first just initial reaction to this budget?
Yeah, thank you very much. I should commend the honesty of the Honourable Minister. I think we have many challenges and we are still not yet out of the woods. And I think the commitment to be prudent in dealing with the little that we have and the fiscal realism, I think I sense quite a lot of realistic and practical approach.
Notice of a motion is the one of the Honorable Minister of... No, the second. The second notice of a motion is the one of the Honorable Minister of Agriculture, Fisheries, Water and Land Reform. Does the Honorable... But... Yeah. Yes, the Honorable Minister was going to withdraw the motions. So, yes, she wants to withdraw the motions. That's the indication that we have received. Yeah, then we have one, Honorable Members, we have one of the Public Service Commissioners whose tenure is expiring at the end of this month, over the weekend. So I would like to appeal that we don't create a vacuum. We conclude the debate on that matter. I know that Thursday usually is questions. Then maybe we can agree to say after that, then we go to the question paper. The ministers are usually having responses. Yeah. So can we agree to allow the minister to withdraw the two motions and then the PM for us to deal with the commissioners? Okay. Thank you. Now, the second notice of a motion is the one by Honorable Minister of Agriculture. Does the Honorable Minister move the motion?
Yes, I so move, Honorable Speaker.
Is it? Okay. Who seconds the motion?
You are here.
No. No, who seconds?
Seconds.
No, who seconds? I think that the...
Yes, I shall move. I move.
No, you are not moving. You just read, Honorable Speaker. You are not moving.
Okay, so no, we will go through the routine. She's going to do what she undertook to do. Does the Honorable Minister move the motion? I think there was a secondment. And now, any objection? None. Agreed to? No, the Minister, she will come. She's coming to do. The Honorable Minister now has the floor. Let's hear her out.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable members, I move without notice that the notices of motions on the order paper that I had tabled on Tuesday, 12 February 2026, that is the second notice of a motion for the Assembly to approve the appointment of members of the Land Reform Advisory Commission, and the third notice of a motion for the Assembly to approve the appointment of members of the Lands Tribunal, both be withdrawn from the order papers in terms of Rule 126 of Standing Rules until further notice. I so move, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. The Minister may now table the notice. Yes, thank you. Yeah. Now, that takes care of the two notices of motion that were tabled by the Minister of Agriculture. Now, the next one is, as we agreed, the Secretary will now read the first order of the day. That is one of the commissioners that we agreed. Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
It was my understanding that when we return from the break, we'll go into the routine of business, ordinary business.
No,
we skipped you mentioned it. I'm not gonna, you mentioned it.
No, okay. Can I answer?
Let us finish, please. Yes. Let us finish. Now, when you offered the minister an opportunity to table a notice of motion, I thought it would be open for everyone to be actually the same. Or I will only bring it for the minister today, because I just to advise that today is only ministers to give a notice of motion, and then the rest of the house does not get accorded the same opportunity.
Yes. Okay, I will answer. That's what I was saying. I was saying I will answer. You see, I'm not giving the floor to the ministers to give notices of motions. I gave the floor to the Minister of Agriculture to withdraw two motions. So the minister withdrew two motions, and I requested the House, and the House agreed that we allow the matter on the appointment of the Public Service Commissioners to receive attention because of the agency. So it's not a matter of ministers being preferred. In fact, the Minister of Agriculture withdrew her two motions, and then we agreed to proceed and conclude the matter of the Public Service Commissioners in order to not create a vacuum. Because once we go into the budget, everything else would take a backseat to the budget. And then after that one, we will come to the questions, which is the priority issue for the day. Yeah. Honorable, that was a point of privilege to get the information. We are not going back to the issue. So now, the Secretary will now read the first order of the day.
Resumption of debate to approve the appointment and reappointment by Her Excellency the President, the members of the Public Service Commission for a period of 5 years.
When this assembly adjourned on Wednesday, the 25th February 2026, the question before the assembly was a motion by the Right Honorable Prime Minister that the motion be approved. Any further discussions? I see Honorable Hengari.
Yes, Speaker.
Yes.
There's just procedural, eh? There's an error on this notice, actually. Resumption of debate to approve the appointment is nothing like that. The President does not appoint anyone.
Which part are you talking to? Yesterday. Are you contributing now to that one, or it's the old day writing?
On privilege, because it's something that I asked yesterday, why it's written as though the President appoints, while the President only nominates. And even here on the orders of the day, it's written appointment and reappointment. It's incorrect. It must be fixed.
Yeah, okay. That one is noted. Secretariat, take note. And now, any further discussions? I see on the list there is no request for the floor. And okay, Honorable Izazi, now there are three MPs.
It's not on the discussion, it's just on a point of procedure. If you may allow me just to inquire. You see, this is what I was addressing yesterday, that when a matter like this, Honorable Speaker, it's advisable that you bring it to the whole House to decide, not only to give a suggestion in a split of a second, you already conclude and then it occur. At least give the people the right to say, we continue this way or we continue this way. So for now, we are just forced into following the paper. Yes, you rightly said that we consider the weekend. But now, looking at the matter here at hand, we are supposed to listen to the questions. And now we are dragged into this discussion. So I want to understand that how are we going to move forward if this happens, that we are being forced to follow what is not on the order paper for that day.
Yeah, Honorable Member, you are wrong to say that you are being forced by anyone. The matter was, there was a proposal put on the table, and the overwhelming majority of the members said yes. And yes, they did. We cannot go back to that issue, Honorable Members. We cannot go back. We cannot say, no, Honorable Members, really, we cannot do that. So, Honorable Ampanda, you have the floor. Yeah.
I just want to advise that I thought there is a matter that is being raised. I don't necessarily agree, but I sympathize with it. It doesn't follow that because there's a tenure of people who are coming to an end, therefore we must quickly hurry for the second. That's very wrong, but I sympathize with it. Yes, but it is not going to be, because remember, if we are going to be technical about it, we also don't have a nomination by the president. So we were saying that, okay, maybe we'll find it will arrive somewhere, somehow, as we are debating this matter. These are the type of matters that requires consultation. It would have been argued and say, we have this problem now. If the executive is saying they are constrained, there is an oversight, they obviously sit with this thing the whole time. Now, the executive emergency cannot become our emergency as a legislature. People want to make a contribution, they want to prepare properly. They came here with that understanding that priority day goes to question. Even the mindset of members in terms of the contribution is absent. But that's why I'm saying we sympathize. There ought to have been a way where even the leader of government business would engage and say, how do we resolve this matter? But I'm just afraid the way how we want to move it might be dangerous. So Speaker, can I please ask that the leader of government business indulge us, I don't know how, whatever the platform, just so that we don't move in that technical area, because no one is going to win about that.
Yeah.
Because
Honorable,
I don't think
can
that
I
today,
respond? You have made your point.
Yes,
can I respond to that one?
Yes. So I'm just saying is that I don't want to stick on these technicalities, and no one must stick on technicalities, that the term is coming. The terms have been coming to an end and everybody knew about it, but I sympathize with it. Can we find a way to deal with both the agency and also not constrain? I hope it's not expected that today there's going to be an approval of that matter.
We don't know. Can I respond, Honorable Member, to you? You see, there are two issues now that the Honorable Member is raising. It is the issue of the order of the business, and it's the issue of the point that you have raised about not having a nomination from the President. Now, there has never been a time when what you are asking for was presented here. So that is an idea, a view that we have expressed, that we all agree we need to discuss and agree upon. But we can't say because you have expressed it, it's necessarily a requirement under the rule. In fact, under the rule, conventions and practices, number 7, it says established conventions and practices of the House may, no, the second one, presiding members may require members to comply with the established conventions and practices of the House. And then read together with 1, it means provided that that practice is not in contravention of the rule. But there is no rule at this point that we can point to that has been violated. I think it's kind of a gap in the rule. No, Honorable Member, you are out of order. You are out of order, and there is nothing on Rule 6 there. That's about rulings. But the point that I'm making is that we wanted to pursue the matter that Honorable Ampanda was raising, and that is why the Minister decided to withdraw the item. Then we will have the opportunity to deal with that issue separately. As to whether we are going to conclude the matter of the appointment of the Public Service Commissioners, it will depend on the conclusion from the discussion. There was only a proposal to say because of the agency of the matter, it should take precedence. And then we consider the matter, and dependent on whether we agree or we don't agree or we are not finished with the debate, I leave it up to you. Me, I'm only presiding. You see? So I think if we can just continue, because truly we had agreed, even if it's not 100%, it's not every member that agreed. But there is no rule that say when we are dealing with an issue, every member must agree, failing which we cannot proceed. Yeah. Yeah, Honorable, can we now consider those who want to contribute? Honorable Nashinge?
Yeah, thank you very much. My challenge, Honorable Speaker, is just the way we do things. All of us here, yes, point of privilege on the matter. Come again? Sure. So, my challenge is that Honorable Prime Minister came with the item at the last minute. And then the other challenge also we have is that we have no other option. It's like want or not, you are going to go for these ones. That's where I think moving forward truly. Because what happens to our expressions of
that be part of your contribution, because point of privilege is not supposed to be a discussion. And in terms of the rules,
let me bring it there.
Yes,
fine.
So that if you are making a contribution, you would then include that. Yeah, so that now I have Honorable Mongo before the Prime Minister, because the Prime Minister will respond, isn't it? Yeah, Honorable Mongo.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I'm seeking your indulgence to postpone this debate to next week, Tuesday. I have not come prepared to make my contribution because I was of opinion that we are going straight to the questions since it's a Thursday. With your indulgence, please, Madam Speaker.
I'll put to adjourn the debate until next week, Tuesday. You now have to guide us in the House. Yes, because it's not my decision to make, just say, yes, it's next week. Leave of the House. When a member is asking to defer, they are requesting for leave of the House. If the House is saying they would rather I make a ruling, I can make a ruling. Or should I make a ruling? Yeah. Yeah. So then if you want to contribute, please, Honorable Member, you go ahead.
Where are these people's names? Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the opportunity to contribute to this motion by the Right Honorable Prime Minister on the appointment and reappointment of 4 members to the Public Service Commission of the Republic of Namibia. The Public Service Commission, as we all know, honorable members, is a very important body, or bodies whose responsibility is to guide the way the public service functions in order to serve our communities, whether in urban or rural settings, but particularly important for our rural settings, because service delivery needs to reach all corners of Namibia. Judging from the nominated members by Her Excellency the President, nominated members, Honorable Hengari, for consideration and approval by this very House, this August House, I've had the pleasure to work with Ambassador Patrick Nandavo when he was ambassador to the Republic of Angola, and I have no doubt in his expertise in bringing value and experience to the Public Service Commission. The same for Ambassador Linda Scott, and of course, Honorable Ludwina Shapwa, who was an honorable member of this House. Very experienced servant, who bring much value to the public service as it is. And in complementing existing members, in addition to Mr. Kamatuka,
Honorable Lizazi, I heard that one. It's out of order.
Thank you for protecting me, Honorable Speaker. In addition to Mr. Kamatuka.
He was attacking the proposed candidate.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable members, please, let's respect each other. So, Honorable Speaker, in addition to Mr. Kamatuka, who has served on the commission, who I've also had the opportunity to work with when we did work around APAM, the Africa Public Service Commissions across Africa, to look at innovation in the public service. And I'm sure you can appreciate, Honorable Speaker, that we at the Ministry of ICT depend heavily on the Public Service Commission to cascade innovation to every office, ministry, and agency, so that the machinery, which is the Public Service Commission, is able to respond to the challenges being faced by public service commissions all over the world. We have emerging technologies, we have a geopolitical space that is ever changing, and this requires a combination of youthful energy, but also experience. And that is what I see Her Excellency the President has done in complementing these 4 members and nominating them to the Public Service Commission to complement the 3 other members on the Commission to ensure that there is a balance between innovation and experience in guiding the Public Service Commission. So with no doubt, Honorable Speaker, Honorable Prime Minister, I fully support the nominations of the 4 members by Her Excellency the President to the Public Service Commission to help us oil an institution that requires a balance of experience, a balance of youthful energy, a balance of a forward-looking approach to making sure the public service continues to deliver public service delivery to even the remotest areas of our country and the most vulnerable communities of our country. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I support the motion.
Yes. Honorable Hangula. No, to who? To the member who finished talking? No, you can't do that, except when you take your own floor. Honorable Hangula has the floor.
Honorable Speaker, we also fully wanted to contribute to this, and I think it would be an injustice if we are not afforded the opportunity to contribute to this motion. So I move that we move it to Tuesday next week. Thank you.
Yes, Honorable Kapofi.
Comrade Speaker, thank you. Many of the youngsters here will already predict what I want to say. You know, when I was at school, I learned there was somebody in Southern Africa who said, and I said in Afrikaans, he said, soek in die verlede al wat goed is, en bou daarop die toekoms. You see, these people we are talking about, well, you will translate. You see, those of us who were at that time who were schooled in Afrikaans, this is the unfortunate time that you may not have that experience because we switched to English. So now we are bilingual. You can also use that experience. The other is, of course, that these are people with immense experience. Yes, is age, you are concerned, certainly, and one colleague talked about elasticity, that sometimes, you know, you reach a limit. we also look at these things. It's not that those aspects are not looked at, but you still see the value that a person can contribute. Really. I want to tell you one thing. When you deal with the commission, I served in many capacities you can imagine. Yeah, well, that one also. That one also. So I served in this aspect, in these many respects. I interacted with the commission. I interacted with Mr. Brits, who was the commission, the chairperson, and then there was Joey Turner, late Joey Turner, and of course after Joe, Eddie, and Kampungu. These are really very, very knowledgeable people. But when you have an issue with the commission, sometimes you want to submit something to the commission. You submit something to the commission. The commission will have a different view. Sometimes they are shouting matches. You need that calmness, that soundness, that maturity to say. I have seen ministers angry with, wanting the commission to, very angry because they want a specific person. The commission will say, no, because of our responsibility to ensure balance and structuring, we are suggesting this. So these are not simple things as we deal with these things of our society, especially within the public service. So we have had these mature people all along. And I have interacted with commissions from other countries, Commonwealth especially, Mauritius, New Zealand, Australia. In Australia, for example, is only one commissioner. In some countries, they are part-time. India is an elaborate system there. They even have a school of public administration where NIPAM was benchmarked. So, yes, some members may not have degrees that they learn from the classroom, but they have a valuable experience that they have learned elsewhere. And really, and I believe the academics here will agree with me that what you learn from the book will help you to do a lot of things, but it's not the only thing that is required. Therefore, I really do not think that it is good to name people, to name them and to sort of shame them. It's not a good thing. Yeah, no, but CV is provided. No. Okay.
Kato, I'm told that you spoke yesterday already on this item. Yeah, Honorable Member, now I don't have the means to confirm that because I have a list. I have a list here of people who spoke. So okay. Okay, I will give the honorable member the benefit of the doubt. I will give him the benefit of the doubt because I cannot really conclude that he is not telling the truth. Yeah, because he said he spoke, but he spoke on a point of privilege, and I will take him for his word. Yeah, okay.
Okay. Honorable Speaker,
members of parliament and leaders of various political parties, good day, and thank you for the platform. I raise here, Honorable Speaker, to humble request this important House to adjourn this until next week, Tuesday, so that I can have a debate on that. Yes, I shall submit. Thank you.
Now I give the floor to Honorable Ericah.
Honorable Speaker, for the sake, please protect me from Honorable Hengari, please. Thank you very much. Honorable Speaker, we are dealing with a delicate issue and a very important issue of the deployment of capable Namibians to a very important commission. And importantly, Honorable Speaker, when I look at the names of the proposed Namibian citizens, and of course through their CVs in terms of from a meritocracy and of course credential point of view, I am sure that all the members that are in this House, none of them are totally not aware of what we are talking about. If that is the case as well, I want to beef it up with just a small amount of information. Ambassador Patrick Nandago, I think there is no one who here need to be schooled who he is. Served as a chief of protocol, ambassador to many countries, permanent secretary in one of the key ministries. He oversaw a number of reforms as far as the Ministry of Home Affairs is concerned. Talk of our good ambassador, Linda Scott. I met her when I was in London. She accommodated us, hosted us, but importantly, her skills of organizing an international forum, ensuring that Namibia interest is put to the fore. Very important. Then you look at the next one, Madam Lundwina Shapwa. I served personally under her when she was a permanent secretary in the Ministry of Lands and Resettlement. Yes. She oversaw the implementation of Commercial Land Reform Act, Communal Land Reform Act, and she is one of our senior members in this country. Served as under the Ministry of Justice, and later as well at the Land Board. Now, Gerson Kamatuka, I served with him when the Marginalized Community Department was starting back in 2005. When this very parliament have directed that a division called Marginalized Community must be commenced. He spearheaded that with our Deputy Prime Minister by then, Dr. Amadila. And he established that from scratch and ensured that we as Namibia have ascended to the signing of Convention 111 and of course United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People 2008 and many other platforms including the white paper on the marginalized community. He oversaw the inclusion and the integration of marginalized community. Having said that, Honorable Speaker, I submit to this House that we support this important commission and ensure that the members need to be given that mandate. The other part that I need to mention to this Honorable House, their term of office is ending tomorrow, which is Friday, and by Monday, new commissioners need to be sworn in. And therefore, in case of any divergent opinion and we do not want to agree, I'm calling upon the Honorable Speaker that we divide the House and vote on this motion forthwith. Otherwise, we support it and we move on. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you, Honorable Member. Now, in terms of Rule 149, when a division has been called, we have to proceed to deal with that. No, but there is a division. No. A division. Honorable Member, can I just say something? When a member calls for a division, they are saying we do not continue with the debate anymore, not today or on a later date, that we should conclude the debate and vote if we cannot. That's what it means. Yeah, no. So in that case, I just want the Secretariat to please, if we are, is that supported? Is there a secondment? Secondment? Okay. So there is in terms of the rule, when there is a division, whenever a division is demanded, Honorable Member, can you take your seat? Let me read the rule. Can I read the rule? Honorable Member, take your seat, please. I would like to read the rule. Yeah. whenever, that's 149 sub 2. 149 sub 2, whenever a division is demanded, the presiding member, before instructing the division bells to be rung, must be satisfied that at least 2 members support the demand for such division. If fewer than 2 members rise in support, the presiding member shall forthwith declare the decision on the question. And then the name of the members who rose in support must be recorded in the journal. But then it says that when a division, after the presiding member has declared the result of a question, that is now sub 1, any member who has voiced his or her opinion with those who are according to such declaration in the minority may demand a division of the assembly, providing the reasons for the demand upon that question, and the division without debate must forthwith take place. Without debate must forthwith take place. So now that is the ruling I'm reading. Now I would like to ask the Honorable Ampanda, what is the point that you are raising on?
Firstly, we all listen to the member. Yeah, the recording is there. He's there. He said in the event we reach that stage.
In the event we reach what stage?
The stage where in the event, he can speak for himself, but he indicates in the event that we reach that stage. Yes. But that's the first thing. Speaker,
let me ask for you for clarity. Are you saying the honorable member did not call for a division? I'm just asking for clarity. I'm trying to understand what you are saying.
He did not call for the division in the manner that you are doing it.
Okay.
He was saying, in case we reach that stage.
Okay, you have made that point.
That's the first thing.
Yeah.
So the second, Speaker, you are always, as our leader, you are always the one who's advising us to be very slow to drastic steps. That's why I was even inviting, if the Prime Minister wants to indulge us, because if we move in that direction, it's extremely dangerous. You can do it today, tomorrow, because this is how this assembly will be run. So you are all going to be checking your back whether you have 45 people, and what happens when you don't have it. So this is a matter of logic. Members are standing up and saying, I am not ready, because number one, we have to pass that hurdle of a Tuesday, of a Thursday, where the agenda is deviated upon for the question. And members are saying repeatedly, I am not ready to contribute. Can we indulge in one another? So that's what members, more than 3 members are saying the same. So there was an invitation that Prime Minister, as a leader of government business, who's sponsoring this, is this the manner in which how we want to handle it? Because I can tell you now, I mean, member, I'm a leader of the party, a member here is not prepared. Now, you are taking away his right because you want people to start on Monday. We accepted that. The truth is that this is a constitution that we are talking about. There is supposed to be a nomination, but you are ruling and saying, okay, convention, we've been doing it for 30 years, a nomination, even if it's not there, it's a convention, we can go without it. That's why I'm saying that I don't want to stick just because it's my view. We would have decided to, but it's a very, very, very dangerous path that we can take. So
yes,
on that basis, Speaker.
I think I have heard you. Can you summarize, please?
On that basis, Speaker, what choice am I left with when the rights of a member who wants to contribute on Tuesday is taken away because people want to divide the house?
Okay,
so
let
the
me
decision
respond.
that you can move in that direction if you want to, but you are always asking us to find consensus to engage one another. On that basis, that's why I was even inviting that the Prime Minister wants us to proceed in that manner.
Yes. Can you
so
take
that
your
we
seat?
can,
Let
because
me.
obviously, if that happens,
yeah, you have
then
made
we have
that point.
our rights elsewhere.
Honorable, you have made that point. Let me respond. You see, the challenge that I face as a presiding officer is the flexibility that I have is specified. So the rules say, if the rules do not provide, the presiding officer may make a ruling, like can make a determination. But where a rule provides, the presiding officer is compelled to go by the rule. And the challenge that I'm faced with, Honorable Ampanda, let me first start with your comment on, I always advocate for us trying to build consensus and finding one another. I do. And honestly speaking, If the parties had tried through their chief whips to talk to one another, we wouldn't be here. But the truth of the matter is the parties do not try to consult. They try to resolve issues, even ones that could have been resolved outside, here on the floor. And sometimes making it difficult for the presiding officer to actually enforce the rules. That's the first one. So the second one is to say the rule compels the presiding officer because it says when a division is called, let me now finish making that point. Yeah? When a division is 149.1, it says when a division is called, the presiding officer, yeah, it's a, it's 2. Whenever a division is demanded, the presiding officer, before instructing, I start from 1. Yeah? A member may demand a division of the assembly, providing the reasons for the demand upon that question, and a division without debate must forthwith take place. So it means that the presiding officer cannot even give the floor to members to make the arguments that they are making now. I only decided to allow in order that members can express themselves. But I truly cannot say, after listening to the interventions that are made, that no division would be called because I will be violating the rules, unfortunately. Maybe really what this issue does is to highlight the importance of chief whips meetings. We can actually agree to have a structured meeting system of chief whips because there is a rule that says when chief whips have agreed on how to deal with a matter, the presiding officer is empowered to enforce that agreement. But the chief whips don't meet. So right now, I have no other option unless if Honorable Ericah did not call for a division. Wait, Honorable Member, you cannot answer from a seated position because Honorable Ampanda said that, and I cannot argue against him. So Honorable Ericah is here. Honorable Ericah, did you call for a division or not?
I unequivocally, unambiguously so, called for a division of the House.
Yes, okay. So that is the fact that needed to be cleared. Once that has happened, unfortunately, I can't do anything anymore. I have to divide the House. Yes, Honorable Naruseb.
Senior members, if we continue that way, make sure you attend Parliament every day.
Honorable Member.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I had no intention to take the floor, but when you said that the chief whips are not meeting, I wanted to say the following. When I took office 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, the government chief whip's office.
Where were you?
The first thing that I have done at the first opportunity was to consult, and I have asked for the intervention of our Deputy Speaker, whom I was told is the one who has been coordinating the coming together of chief whips. And I think the very same week, it was on a Monday, I think on Wednesday, we had a meeting of all the chief whips where we were able to interact and look at ways and modalities how we can streamline the activities in the House. So maybe it is not very correct if in the past the chief whips were not meeting. I cannot talk on that, but from the 3 weeks that I was, even today, I had to attend a forum that was convened by one of the leaders of the opposition, the attendance was not very promising, but at least I was there. The others were represented by their PAs, but there are all efforts with the objective of making sense of what is going on in the House. I so submit.
Yes, thank you, honorable members. Can I plead, honorable members, that we proceed according to the rules? What I meant is only to say, if these issues that we are disagreeing on here were discussed at the chief whip's meetings, we wouldn't be in this situation. But I know there were some meetings, but definitely they are not helping us to not have these disagreements. That's all that I meant. Thank you very much, Senior Honorable Narusep. Now, can the Secretariat please assist us? Yeah. We ring the bells and we... Honorable member, unfortunately, can I request you, ne? Can I request you that you will still, Honorable Ampanda, you will still have the opportunity to say what you want to say. But now I am constrained because the rule says when a division is called, we must stop all discussions. So maybe on a point of privilege or at the chief whip's meeting, or standing rules or wherever, we can raise this issue and we can discuss it and resolve it so that we are compliant with the rules. Yeah. Honorable member, yeah. Honorable member, the challenge that I'm faced with is that I don't have the flexibility. Yeah. No, I don't have the flexibility to give you a platform to say whatever important issue you want to say at this point. But I'm offering that the platform remains available to you. Whether it is chief whip, whether it's standing rules, whether it's point of privilege, on Tuesday, you can raise it. But right now, I'm constrained by the formulation of the rules to say a division has been called and the division must be made right away. Yeah. how can you ask me to compel him to obey the rule when you are refusing also? Can you sit down at least? Can you sit down and ask me, sit down. If you want to complain about something someone has done, ask for the floor procedurally. But if you stand and you refuse to listen to me when I say sit down, you can't say I must ask him to comply. You are also not complying. You see, that's a challenge that I have. When the house becomes chaotic, anything goes, it becomes difficult for the presiding officer. No, honorable member, I'm not honorable. I would like the honorable members to allow me to carry out this process in terms of the rules. No, honorable member. Can we vote? Those in favor, rise. Rise, those who are in favor.
They're still standing because we need to...
rise.
Come to record their names.
One name. We stand, those who can vote. I know. Yeah. Honorable members, you are not allowing me to go. Honorable member, either you take your seat or you engage me tomorrow on Tuesday. You are out of order, honorable member. I can't entertain you because you are out of order. You can't stand there and talk to me. You are out of order. It's also not a procedure. I'm trying to help you. You are not helping me. You are making it difficult for me to do anything. I can't engage you when you are standing there. No, honorable member. It's okay. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yes. How do we vote? No. Okay. Can we have order now, please? Can we have order? When the doors close, Honorable Mwashindange, you can't. Can we have silence when the voting is taking place? Can we have silence, honorable members? Did you take the names? Yeah.
Be recorded in the journal. Yeah, we will record it in the journal.
Yeah, honorable, before you take your seat, secretary, now, the 40 that you mentioned, what does it mean in terms of agreeing or not agreeing with it? So the quorum is?
49.
49, and we have 40 in favor. Yeah. I want you, secretary, to clarify that because we need to have certainty as to what the decision is. Remain standing as the counting is going on. The members who are voting in support remain standing.
Well, of course, we're still coming to you live from the Parliament, the National Assembly of the Republic of Namibia. As you know, earlier this afternoon, around 2:45, the new budget for the next financial year of the government of the Republic of Namibia was announced by the Minister of Finance, Honorable Ericah Shafuda. Of course, this time around the budget, of course, no major surprises that have come. We know that the social sector still gets the largest chunk of the budget, with over 60% of the total expenditure allocated to the social sectors, including that account for the likes of education, employment, as well as, of course, health, amongst others. We know the largest allocation coming to the Ministry of Education was a little bit over $20 billion. Health receiving around a little bit over 12.8 billion Namibian dollars as well. What's happening right now in Parliament is that the parliamentarians are voting whether they need to continue with the debate and open up the floor today, or whether it's going to be postponed for detailed engagements. As you know, as per practice, the appropriation bill has now been tabled. That's exactly what the Minister of Finance has done. And over the course of the next 4 to 6 weeks, there would be debates on the different votes that will be defended by each and every ministry. Now, the way it works, that different ministries have different amount of votes depending on the policy position that they have. For example, the Minister of Justice and Labour has 2 votes, one for Justice and one for Labour. And the Minister will be expected to come and defend here in the legislature, of course, in front of the people's representatives, on why they need that vote to be approved. So the tabling does not mean that the money has been provided. It must still be defended here in Parliament. And that's, of course, how the separation of powers is maintained between the executive and the legislature here in the Republic of Namibia. So over the next couple of weeks, all the ministers will be coming in and they will be defending their different allocations and different votes before the final decision will be made and the approval for the appropriation bill. And only after that, the expenditure by the different administration of government will start spending, of course, what has been tabled here. On that note, I think from our side, it's time for us to say goodbye. There will be a number of debates that will be happening, of course, reactions that will follow. So stay tuned to NBC. Watch our news at 8 tonight as we'll unpack again the national budget. And over the next couple of weeks, it will be the talk and the focus of the work that the legislature of the Republic of Namibia will be doing over the next couple of years. On that note, from myself, Ricardo Tlangosep, and the crew here at Tyndon Palace, it's bye-bye.
It's actually, yeah, Honorable Minister of International Relations.
I wanted to find out, because when we started the vote, we had a quorum. So why were the doors not locked? Exactly my question.
Out when the process had started. Unfortunately, they have walked out. At the time that we voted, those who are in favor were counted. We don't have a quorum. And the honorable members, even if the doors are locked, the doors are closed. They are not locked with a key. So a member would remain in the house in compliance with the rule. but there is no way for us to restrain this member and keep them away from walking out. So that can happen. It will be a violation of the rules, but there is no way of preventing it, unfortunately. Yeah, so it means that we now rise on automatic adjournment, yeah, until Tuesday.
This is NBC1. It's ours.
Stay informed and inspired with the Daily Roundup with Nina, your ultimate weekday destination for the latest news, in-depth interviews, and compelling stories from Namibia and around the world. From breaking headlines and expert insights to special features that highlight impactful initiatives, we bring you everything you need to stay connected to the issues that matter the most. Don't miss it. Your news, your world, every day.
Hey guys, this is Dixon Wambe, founder of Namspire Sports Village, the home of Namibia Paddle, Fast Football Namibia, 3x3 Basketball, as well as Namspire Cricket. And welcome to my top 10 sports essentials. Number 10 is a little bit of a difficult one. It's a tie at number 10. So I'm not sure which one is the least one of the two, but of course, always gotta go with deodorant in the car, wherever you are in the office. Deodorant is important because we perspire.